am Sunny Star Blast.
I just realized I put myself to mute, so that was me to be hearing you all.
I can hear you. You can hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, hey.
Like I said, I accidentally muted myself by putting the voice.
Oh, no.
Anyway, let's start. Oh, damn! I'm so sorry.
Why? It's okay. Oh,
This is us being candid and exposed. That's what people want.
Oh.
oh
Okay.
What the hell was that?
Yeah.
I know, but I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
What?
I said, what are you doing?
What?
Oh, hey.
I said, what are you doing?
Oh, no.
What?
I said,
Oh, no.
where's your...
yes.
You're the one who brought us here.
I am.
You're the
Sunny
biggest
Star
dork of all.
Blast. I am a variety stream.
Darth Dorker.
That's right. That's right.
I am Sunny Star
Hey,
Blast.
Kittykins.
A variety
Okay, that.
stream.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Hey, Katie.
Welcome to what will inevitably be the last stream after we break Twitch.
Oh, hey. Oh, no. Oh, no.
And this is some good old-fashioned ASMR. Today's theme, Friday the 13th.
Oh,
Are you horny yet?
oh no. Katie, how about you?
Oh, hey. Oh, no. Oh, no.
I am Sunny Star Blast. I am a variety stream. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the place you come for us to talk about bad movies. A lot of other bad things.
Wiggy wham wham wazzle.
Back on.
Lubba dub dub.
Come on, son. Oh gosh. Okay, so we're getting into today's topic: tournament of adaptation. Bad adaptation.
This Sunday. Yep.
On ESP them.
Okay. I'm quiet. All right. Let's
Wait.
talk.
Does that make you the quiet man?
Yes. You guys talk. I will click.
10
Hey,
mics
Mr. Lady, how
later.
you doing?
Well, I mean, this is a story all about.
You already did that joke.
I know. That's why I stopped. But yes, welcome everyone. While we wait for our shining light in the sky, who burns like a star.
Who's that?
And bright like a diamond.
Does that make him forever?
Well, he's a
Hope
sugar daddy.
not. Can y'all hear me now?
People don't forget.
Is this better?
Hello, white pages.
Okay, good. So I guess we're sticking with voice mod today.
Wonderful.
Right. So tournament of Badaptations. Um, Basically we've watched all of these movies, except I haven't watched
Painfully.
Wonder Woman in 1984 because these two told me not to.
Yes, because we explained it on the previous podcast.
Still a little quiet? Okay, I got you, kid.
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, you hear me through Discord. They're hearing me through OBS.
This
Ah.
is the original Justice League white pages. It would be unfair if we did the Snyder cut.
Yeah, we're
Because
we're,
that,
do,
cause they
we're
will
doing
lose.
what was it called? The Justice League?
Yes, the Justice League.
Christ. Okay. So, right. We've watched all of these, well, most of these movies. This means I had to watch 15 bad movies for this. These other two watched 16 bad movies for you guys.
I mean, I still haven't finished Death Note, so 15 for me as well.
Oh, that's okay. I got Death Note covered. Speaking of Death Note, we're gonna do Dragon Ball Evolution versus Death Note first.
Actually, my mistake. I meant 14. I haven't watched Mulan either.
Oh, don't worry. You're not missing much.
King Crazy got that covered. Catwoman was a masterpiece. Katie, get out right now.
I mean, a masterpiece of trash. It does make sense.
A trashterpiece?
Anyway, but we are going on to DBE and Death Note. But before we start that, Sunny, can you walk us through what our points system is for this?
Right. So, we'll be judging these movies based on their overall plot, basically how well the plot matches the original media source, the faithful character representation, if the characters are, at least if the characters mesh with their personalities in their written or otherwise animated or whatever counterparts, and casting, essentially, if the actors were a good fit for that role or movie. And yeah, so I guess we're gonna start out with Dragon Ball Evolution, which it did the worst in the box office compared to all of these movies.
Makes perfect sense. It's a movie so bad that even Akira Toriyama had to go on statement claiming that he had nothing to do with this movie.
The movie was so bad that he decided to make Dragon Ball Super.
Yes, that is to tell you how bad the movie is. That he deemed it so much of an insult to his prized Dragon Ball franchise that he made another Dragon Ball franchise. I mean,
And this guy
imagine that
hated working on Dragon Ball Z after a while.
he hated it after the Cell arc.
Yeah. So, imagine.
See, now to make the imagination even worse, just to say how bad this movie was, GT, which is considered a dumpster fire by more people, did not convince him to make another series, but this did.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
See, I used to have respect for Chow Yun Fat and I'm missing his name. Ernie Hudson, Black Ghostbuster.
Yes.
And then I saw this, and I'm like, you know what? You two can go away now.
I go
You and the
like
lady
this.
play Chi-Chi.
I thought it this way. For them, it was just a paycheck. It was not meant for them to actually show their acting chops.
Um, You're right.
And James and James Marsters, who
Oh
who
man.
we lovely knew as Spike, was probably the worst. Like no, actually, no, sorry, definitely the worst version of Piccolo you could ever see or hear or just be witness to. It's
Although I would say this with a caveat, there's probably only one character this show got reasonably right that I can think of, and that was Master Roshi, because he was a pervert still.
Yeah. Wait, Mr. Lady, you met Ernie Hudson? That's pretty awesome. But yeah. Um, I guess we should get into the plot
Sure.
a little bit.
So Dragon Ball Evolution plot, or if you want to call it a plot, is somehow a high school teen movie with action and potential stakes. I think that's probably the best way to describe this movie, because you spend a whole bunch of it with Goku getting like the traditional beat up by bully kind of garbage in high school
Can you tell me
because
why he was being bullied?
because
I don't get
apparently
it.
his is it grandfather?
Yeah,
Yeah, his
Grandpa Gohan.
grandpa Gohan basically told him that he shouldn't fight. He needs to be the better person. His skills were not meant to fight bullies. God knows for whatever reason.
Okay,
they
and
called him. No, sorry,
yeah,
they
do
called
it.
him
Giku.
Giku.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
That's
and
the biggest. That's one of the biggest gripes I have with this. The
and
bullies
Chi
called him Giku.
and to make matters worse, Chi Chi, who is supposed to be a battle strong young girl, because that is exactly what she is in Dragon Ball, where she loves fighting and she fought Goku to marry him. Strangely enough, um, uh, it she changed from that to being like high school stereotype, hot girl that everyone likes, but she likes the protagonist.
But is also dating the bully who called him Giku.
Yes, uh, I don't know who looked at Dragon Ball and said, "Hey, I can turn this into high school." The
But it gets better.
it
It gets so
does.
much better, and by better I mean worse. It's opposite day, by the way.
Yep.
So
Is
King Piccolo, James Marsters, by the way, um, was trying to take over the world at some point. A bunch of warriors used the Mafuba, or the Demon Containment Wave, whatever you want to call it, I don't care, to trap him inside the earth and not a rice cooker. That's fine, whatever. They trapped him with the Mafuba, that's fair enough. But his minion, Uzaru, which is essentially the great ape that Goku turns into in Dragon Ball, is Piccolo. Well, Piccolo's minion is Uzaru. And as soon as Piccolo got trapped in the earth, Uzaru just said, "Oh, well, he's gone, I'm out." Disappears. And is somehow reborn as Goku or something. I don't remember. It was just.
which does not make any sense, because unless we've confirmed that they've completely changed Goku's plot, that he's not even a Saiyan anymore. He's just a human with powers. I'm assuming that's probably what happened here.
That's what it was.
Okay.
Also, Mai was in the movie as his hench person, but no mention of Emperor Pilaf or Shu.
And if I remember correctly, we had Bulma and
Yes, Bulma and
Yamcha.
Yamcha.
Yamcha was there.
Yes, Bulma and Yamcha were there. Yes.
Piccolo killed Gohan. Master Heat, and while dying, Grandpa Gohan. I mean, Grandpa Gohan says, "Hey Goku, go train with Master Roshi, who is played by Chow Yun Fat." And he does, and some hijinks ensue. Goku gets the girl. Um, Master Roshi dies, which is fair. That kind of meshes with the plot of Dragon Ball.
I think he gets brought back in that
No,
movie.
that's later on in the end, but
I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter. There's no Krillin, so this
yes,
movie is already trash.
There's no Krillin. The plot is, of course, still to get the Dragon Balls, and apparently, this thing doesn't have ki; it has airbending.
Right. Ki is mentioned, but
It
it's not
is, but
really
I
key.
mean,
And Goku uses a Kamehameha at the end, but it doesn't kill King Piccolo. And he is alive at
Oh,
the
right.
end.
Oh, and the fight scene. The fight scene, the fight scene between the two, and this is where I was watching it on Nostalgia Critic, where he accurately points out that aside from the, I guess, airbending at each other, they only punch each other twice in the whole fight.
Right.
So yeah, Dragon Ball, which is known for these crazy, super fast punch sequences, 2 punches this whole fight.
Also,
uh,
what is up with the casting? Like, all of these, like, most of these people are big names. Chow Yun Fat, Emmy Rossum, Jamie Chung, James Marsters, uh, freaking Ernie Hudson.
and that's why the movie flopped so hard because they got a whole bunch of they paid money for big names, but couldn't have someone to write a proper script.
Even the bully, I remember him from, like, Final Destination
Destination.
3. The guy who got his head crushed.
Okay, okay, and I guess for the record, they're not like the biggest names, but
What are you talking
still,
about?
it's
Chow Yun Fat is pretty damn big.
Yeah, Chow Yun Fat is, like, an enormous name. He's not, like, super famous now to maybe, like, Gen Z, but I feel like our
back then,
generation,
yes.
yeah. And this movie was made in, like, 2007, so he was a pretty big name. He was up there with Jet Li and Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Like the George Lopez of like Japanese movies.
Chinese.
Sorry, Chinese. It's like his name, but then you'll see him, and you're like, oh hey, there he is. Good one.
Wasn't Jamie Chung in another movie that is on this list? Or,
Well, we'll find out
Um,
once you go down the list.
right. Anyway, so, right. I guess we're just gonna judge this movie because I don't. As
Does
far, yes, go
does
ahead.
this movie make its characters faithful? No.
No.
not even close.
Does this
It's just a
movie
big no.
have a good plot? No.
Absolutely
No.
not.
Goku
And
in high school?
what was the last one? I forgot what the last point was. Sorry.
The casting.
Is the casting for this done well? Except for Master
No.
Roshi? No.
The actors are great, but for these roles, absolutely not.
Okay, well, here's what: if the main character can't do a good Goku, I don't care for anyone else in this, no matter how their acting is.
Yeah,
It's like I usually don't particularly care when it comes to like here's a known Japanese character with a Japanese name. And it's like, okay, with the right casting, sure. But I see this random white teen in the commercial, and I'm like, I can feel this is going to be garbage. I shouldn't see it because you have this white teen being called Goku, and it's supposed to be serious.
Yeah. Yep. So basically, it ticks all three boxes for really, really, really bad movie. So
Yes.
let's go on to its competitor, Death Note.
okay.
Death Okay, Death Note was bad, but I would say it's worlds better than DBE.
So here's where I give Death Note some props, way up props over Dragon Ball Evolution for what I've seen of Death Note.
Okay.
At least Death Note is more faithful to its original source material than Dragon Ball ever was. The fact that
Absolutely.
the
Yes.
main thing is Kira, the Netflix one, yes. The fact that Kira is actually out there killing people, regardless of whether his relationship with what's her face changed a
Oh,
bit in this movie, where
I think it's Mia in this movie.
Yeah,
Mia in
it's
this
Mia in the
movie
movie. Yeah.
where in the original script he was using her because she herself had a Shinigami.
Yeah.
In this one, they seem to be more working together. as like a couple.
Ooh,
So they want kind
I,
of.
I gotta stop you there. So they were working together up to a certain point, and then it seemed more like Mia got Light's characteristics from the anime,
Yes.
and Light got Misa's characteristics.
Um,
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far. Like,
Well,
okay,
he's not as obsessive over her as Misa is to Light in the anime, but he kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. First of all,
So he starts simping then. Okay.
he yeah, pretty much.
okay,
Like
so I would
he's
say
gonna
that.
go ahead.
I know. I would say that around the end, Mia was being like really domineering, like really like she was clearly starting to like be like straight up sociopath,
Oh, absolutely.
and Light. Sorry. Oh, his full name was Light Turner.
Yes, not Light Yagami. It's Light Turner.
You
Biggest
know
thing that
what?
made
Ugh.
me mad.
I'm not surprised because I mean, here's what: if anyone who's seen the Saint Seiya show on Netflix, the one that came out, they basically turned Seiya's or origin to him being Brooklyn Seiya. So you know what? I've given up on Netflix giving any accurate representation of location for characters.
I
To
saw it
be
was 3D.
fair,
I
it's
didn't. I
it's
wasn't interested.
Netflix is just licensing these, where and I guess being a producer or whatever, and other people are writing them and just pitching them to Netflix, and Netflix is like, stamp, let's go. This is
Yeah,
gonna make us
so
money.
I'm assuming what they did was in order to appeal to more Netflix audience of Americans, they changed some of these names without realizing people don't want the names changed. People who are going to watch this are the ones who actually like the source material.
It's like
Right.
4 kids wrote the movie, but
Oh
they wrote
God.
it dark. No, seriously, if you think about it, back when anime started becoming more uh
Mainstream.
Yeah,
mainstream, back in the
the,
90s ish,
the best example of what Sonny's talking about there would be Yu-Gi-Oh, Joey
right?
Wheeler, Taya.
Right. Hmm.
They literally the only person's name who didn't change from that was Yugi Moto because his character is it's a titular character's name. Him and
Right.
Seto like the main character like Seto Kaiba kept his name, but like his friends, all their names got changed from what the Japanese ones were.
That's why it was very weird. I don't understand why they changed Misa's name to Mia. But then when you saw the absolute personality difference, then you're like, oh, maybe that's why.
He's got a
Maybe
different
it's
person.
just a
Yep.
different person.
Sorry, I'll be right
Okay.
back. You'll continue with this.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I
Like
think
I
my
would.
go ahead.
I don't know. I would say like the one thing that keeps Death Note worlds better than DBE, the casting of Willem Dafoe as Ryuk. That was spot on.
Yeah. But Willem Dafoe is just pretty good at doing characters. Just
Right.
not I can't just say characters because that's not that's vague. But like
Right. Like Willem Dafoe is an outstanding actor, but I don't know. For Ryuk, like as like having that sinister voice and that
right.
BT does. I'm not gonna help you, and also I don't kind of I kind of don't give a shit. But you do you. It's like with Willem Dafoe, it just works.
I
Like everything
Definitely.
else,
yeah.
like everything else could have changed, but Willem Dafoe's Ryuk, chef's kiss. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so then just because we probably have a clear win in this one already, and this way I can update it before I head off. So this way we have the new one to start. Are we all in agreement that DBE is the worst of these two movies?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm marking DBE as the one who's won this as the worst of the two movies.
Don't forget to save so I can reload it.
You can reload now. It has saved.
Thank you. All right. Well, that's that. Ooh, Super Mario Brothers versus Aragon.
Y'all, Super Mario Bros. I'll be right back.
Okay. So, Super Mario Brothers the movie, I think was the first video game adapted movie, or at least
Definitely one of the first.
the first one that I've ever seen. Um it was good for what it was back in what 1990 or whatever or 1989. Holy crap.
It definitely wasn't boring.
It wasn't. And of course the cast was okay. I don't remember most of the
Uh,
people except for John Leguizamo and the cop from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the detective. I don't even
yes,
remember his name. Oh, poop! I feel bad because
yeah, he passed away a while back.
yeah, like 5 or 6 years ago, I think. But yeah, I mean, the plot was weird. You know, they
They they fall into
Nintendo
a
actually
wormhole.
made. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, they fall into a wormhole or something through. I want to say they were like doing plumbing, and they just got sucked through, and then they just ended up in a world with like it. It was kind of cyberpunk, and you
Cyberpunk
have
before Cyberpunk was a big thing.
yes, it was. It wasn't Bowser. It was King Koopa, and he
President
was a
Koopa.
dude, right? And he was a dude in a suit, and he's like, and one of the things I remember is that he was like in this lotion bath or something. It was it was weird. Like he was talking about. He's like, you know
The
what? I like
goo.
how this feels. The goo. It's like I like how this feels. It just feels good to me. And let's see, there was his henchman
The
who,
Koopalings. Iggy and Spike. Yeah, they're
yes,
supposed to be Koopalings, but they're just regular
and,
dudes.
and they were kind of the Team Rocket. Like they were just idiots. It's like they were tied up and they were telling the Mario Brothers to surrender immediately.
Yeah, right.
And
The
there
princess was
was
Daisy and not Peach, and like,
and she had a thing for Luigi.
right. But there was a Peach, wasn't there? No.
I do not believe so.
The person who was into Mario was Big Bertha. Big Bertha was the black woman who was wearing red.
Damn. Oh, and trying to remember what the plot was. Because something was happening in the other world, and it was starting to change things for the real world.
Right.
Hang on. Oh yeah, and Mario was played by Bob Hoskins.
Correct.
And let's see, about 65 million years ago, a meteor crashes into the Earth, killing the dinosaurs and splitting the universe into two parallel dimensions.
Which makes
The surviving
absolutely zero
dinosaur.
sense.
Oh, the surviving dinosaurs cross into a new dimension and evolve into a humanoid race. That's
I
part.
remember now.
That's where it make no sense. And
They
then
made
20
a
years ago,
de-evolution gun, and at some
yes,
point they were going to try to de-evolve a whole bunch of people, and they managed to de-evolve the king into just a bunch of fungus because apparently
yes,
he was a living fungus who evolved into a humanoid, and that was Daisy's father.
right.
Wait, are
Let's see.
Daisy and Peach sisters?
Holy shit, are they?
Like, I don't understand. I've never really thought about Mario lore, but now it's. Are they sisters? This isn't something I should be thinking about right now, but.
Uh,
Okay, I'm back.
What up? Do you know if Princess Daisy and Princess Peach are sisters?
it doesn't say that
Um,
they're sisters.
doesn't say so. I think they were. Yeah, I think they're more like roommates. I think Katie's correct.
The two have a very close and sister-like relationship. Well, that's dumb. Just make
They're
them
basically
sisters.
best friends. This is evil as that.
Okay.
Let's see. 20 years ago, a mysterious woman leaves a large egg along with a rock at a Catholic orphanage. As she attempts to leave, she is accosted by President Koopa, who demands the location of the rock. Rocks then fall onto the woman, killing her. The egg hatches containing an infant girl. In the present, Two Italian-American plumber brothers, Mario and Luigi, live in Brooklyn, New York. They're on the verge of being driven out of business by the mafia-operated Scapelli construction company led by Anthony Scapelli. Luigi falls for NYU student Daisy, who is digging under the Brooklyn Bridge for dinosaur bones. After a date, Daisy takes Luigi back to the bridge only to witness two of Scapelli's men sabotaging it by leaving the water pipes open. Mario and Luigi manage to fix it, but are knocked unconscious by Iggy and Spike, Koopa's henchmen and cousins.
No, that's it. This movie wins
Cousins.
already. This movie wins.
I didn't even realize Iggy and Spike were in this. What the hell?
Yes, the Koopa's henchmen are Iggy and Spike, who, as a lot of people would probably know, are the Koopalings in the games. Koopalings aren't necessarily Bowser's children, but they are young Koopas.
Just one last thing. So they kidnap Daisy, and Mario and Luigi awaken to pursue them through an interdimensional portal that leads them to Dino Hatton. Dino Hatton.
I'm reading it along with you, and I just.
You have to say it, like you have to see it to believe it. I'm just skimming through this. Yeah, the king got devolved into fungus. Her mother, the queen, took her to Brooklyn. They opened the portal. Kuzan's fighting to find Daisy, and the rock merge the dimensions and make him dictator of both worlds. So it's Mortal Kombat. They were merging the worlds together.
So basically, the one thing that the Super Mario Bros. Movie did right was give a better excuse for the missing mom than the actual games.
Yeah.
She is dead.
Yeah.
Wait, Yoshi was in this.
Yes, Yoshi was indeed in it. He was a little Velociraptor thing.
Okay.
They actually did have a Babam in it, and it was a wind-up toy. I remember that very well because that's how I learned how to say Babam.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was used as the finale of the movie. So yeah, the Babam was useful in it.
Everybody freaked out, like Babam, Babam! Oh my god! Ah! And I'm like, it's a toy. Oh, it explodes. Got it.
Wait, and eventually the Mario Brothers rescue Daisy with the help of Toad, a good-natured guitarist who was devolved into a Goomba as punishment.
Yeah. Goombas were basically really buff dudes with tiny lizard heads.
Yes. Oh god.
Everything is in my brain right now. As soon as we started talking about the evolution, I remembered everything.
Oh, but they try to devolve Koopa, but he gets turned into a semi-humanoid Tyrannosaurus Rex, and then turned to slime.
Yes. Also, there was a post-credit scene. I do remember that.
It's Mario 2, which never happened.
They were Iggy and Spike were talking to some like business dudes, and they were like trying to promote a video game, and they called it the Super Koopa Cousins.
Yes.
So that was a thing. I think I have it on VHS somewhere around here. But Bob Hoskins, you can do better. And John Leguizamo is in this. He's the only person who's alive right now that I know was in the movie. Oh wait, Frank Welker was in it, and Dan Castellaneta. Holy crap! I don't know who the rest of these people are. Oh wait, Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper, why did you do this to yourself, man?
Hey man, paycheck.
Yeah, but Dennis Hopper, my dude. Oh crap, I forgot about that. Anyway, so that's let's go over the stuff, the criteria. The plot. How did you feel about the plot, guys?
Dino Hatton.
I'm going to consider that a good thing.
Mario got dominated by a black woman. I have no idea why that was even in the movie.
Yes, Big Bertha. Um, dang, I forgot what I wanted to say. Right, right. So, what about faithful characters representation?
Well, they kept the brother theme there, Mario, Mario, Luigi, Mario, and they gave the official last names of them, which have been, I think, they have been officially confirmed by Nintendo. That's the official last names as well.
Yes, it is. Now,
Now it is, but I
I
mean,
remember the scene too. What's your name? Mario. What's your last name? Mario. Mario, Mario? Yeah. What about yours? Luigi. What's your let me guess. Luigi Luigi? No. Luigi Mario. Ah, good times. It was a simple time.
It was a better time.
that
Okay, so
those props for is that it at least made me laugh at some parts in the movie.
yes, it's like for a kids movie, this was pretty damn good.
Yeah, it for children who are starved for good live action movies that weren't like Disney or kid like, this was pretty good. It was good for its time, but by today's standards, it's trash. But still better than a lot of the stuff that's been out. So we're gonna go on
Very
to
true.
Aragon. Oh wait, I forgot. There's the last thing. Casting. Casting was great. I don't care what anybody says. I just this movie wasn't the best, but it was very hammy. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it was just we like it. Aragon.
Oh boy, this movie. I would say one thing that this movie got right. The movie,
Jeremy Irons.
not really, but
Oof.
That's
um,
what I liked.
the one thing this movie did right compared to the book, for anyone who's read the book, is that a lot of the points are similar to the book. They did a few changes, whereas certain things were killed off when they shouldn't have been killed off. So for example, the Razak, which is the orc version, the orc equivalent in this series, are in the books and actually a recurring group that goes through all four books. This movie kills them all off before the end of the first movie. I don't know why. They, I would say this movie is bad because it tries to put a spin on a story that shouldn't have needed a spin. They did this debates. You had the dragon, you had the character. I mean, the person who played Aragon, Ed Spielers, was okay casting. He was like a new cast, so he didn't really have like a really good range for that. Um, some of the other characters just didn't feel right. I mean, I agree with you. Jeremy Irons' Braum is probably one of the few good casting choices in this because Braum is supposed to be the character there that's meant to be like the spritzy old man trope, like the Obi-Wan, the person there to train the main character.
Yeah.
And yes, he does die early, just like Obi-Wan. It's expected he gets another thing. And but I mean, compared to like the biggest problem this movie had was that it went generic. It had nothing in this, especially at a time when Lord of the Rings was out. This was generic. It had nothing
Right.
in this movie to really set it apart from like fantasy. And don't get me wrong, the books themselves aren't the best fantasy. This was written by a teenager going into adulthood as an author. So you can see a lot of in the books. There's a lot of young style of writing in it that gets better over time as he gets older. But I mean, this ticks the generic boxes in terms of doing a movie. Like any form of uniqueness that the book had didn't translate into this movie. This felt like okay, um, boy meets thing, check. The love interest gets captured by the enemy, check. Was the old wizard who actually secretly hides near to where the protagonist is to then save him at the last moment and train him, check. Wisely Old Wizard dies. Check. Meets another character later on who you find out is actually the son of one of the evil people. Check. Um, Battles orcs. Check. Literally, this movie really did nothing to try and show what was interesting in the book, and it just felt as this bland comparison to Lord of the Rings, and that was the problem. It had nothing to
Right.
stand out for it, and I think that's why I consider this movie so bad. While it tried to stay somewhat truthful to the source material while having its own few changes and liberty of changes, it was not. It was a bland movie, and a
Yeah.
bland movie is a forgettable movie. I could say with us here, we can quote things from Mario so many years after watching it just because of how an impact, even if it was bad, we still enjoyed certain parts of it. I can honestly say without a doubt, there was nothing in this movie I enjoyed. It felt a slog to watch through. It felt insulting to a person who was a fan of the book to even stand and watch through this. And by the end of it, you were like, thank God they messed up the ending so badly that they can't even do a second movie.
Honestly,
Mm.
because I was like I'm watching it and I see John Malkovich, and I'm
Right?
like, okay, we might get something out of this. No, he just delegates to Rumpelstiltskin, and then just yeets a curtain, and then a dragon's behind it, and we're like, whoa. But I'm sitting there just like, this is 2 hours I'm not getting back.
Can I just mention that in a lot of these movies, there are really big name actors that I've noticed that this is kind of a trend. They'll shell out a lot of money for people like Jeremy Irons and Jimon Hanso and John Malkovich, and then the movie turns out to be poo poo butter. Heck, even Rachel Weisz was in this movie.
Wait, yeah, she was the dragon, right?
Yeah,
Like I'm sitting there like, yo, the dragon talks a lot.
That's
they,
how it is in the book as well. Basically, a rider that wants their dragon, they can both communicate to each other, and the dragon can also communicate to other people as well telepathically.
Right, but I'm like, they're talking a lot. And honestly, the main protagonist, Aragon, the titular character, yo, he's a fucking dipshit. Like everybody and their mother's saying, don't do this. And he's like, no, I gotta do it because I'm a hero. And it's like, you're the reason that Brahm or whatever his name is got stabbed and murdered. You fucking moron.
dang, such passion behind your voice.
To
Okay,
be
There's
fair,
more
though, he was
more
a farm
passion in
kid.
that than the movie.
oof.
Okay, so go
But
gauging this against the thing. How were the characters? Aside from one or two characters, most of the characters in this were not that good. How was the plot? The plot was boring.
yeah, it was boring. I'm not gonna
It,
lie.
it was straight up boring.
You
Um,
are the chosen one. I
how
don't want to
faithful?
be, but you are.
How faithful is it to the to the actual source material? The fact that they actually killed off a main person slash character that was supposed to be in future books and changes up how the movie ends. It's pretty big. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like Mario Brothers' own where they completely changed the whole world to give Mario plot. But Aragon was still pretty bad with that. But between the two of these, I consider Aragon the biggest sin, and the reason being is because as much as I would say Mario Brothers was a trash movie, if you told me I had to watch one of these two again, I would pick Mario Brothers. What would you? What would you two?
Yeah,
Obviously, Mario Brothers.
yeah. I feel like we were already on that page when we started this bracket.
Well, no. Remember at the start, you said that Mario was going to be worse because of the Iggy issue.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the reason why I had to argue against it because I'm like, even if Mario had cardinal sins like that, at least I can rewatch Mario today and still get some enjoyment out of it for how stupid it is compared to Aragon, which just was like, I don't want to sit through this again. I want my time back. I'd rather go watch Tommy Wiseau make a bad movie again than watch this.
To be fair, the Super Mario Brothers movie gave us the beautiful song "Everybody Walk the Dinosaur." I just want to put that out there. So I forgot about that, and then the memory unlocked. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Mario Brothers wins this.
Oh, so for you, you're saying Mario Brothers is the worst of the two?
No, it's the better one. It
Okay,
it
okay.
Yeah.
wins by not being by not winning.
So it loses in this case. So we all
Yes.
agree it's the worst. Okay, Aragon wins. Okay, moving on to the next trash pile: Green Lantern versus Catwoman.
I
Ooh.
would say Catwoman is definitely worse because all they could use was Catwoman's name. That's it. After that, everything's just
It's just a movie about
nonsense.
Halle Berry and PVC. Let's be real.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
what everybody wanted to see at in 2002 or 3 or whenever that crap came out.
so many parts of it didn't even make sense. Like, okay, the evil lady wants to sell this extremely dangerous skin cream, which, surprisingly enough, gives her skin like granite, but it's horribly toxic and kills people. Exactly at what point would the CDC step in and just completely shut this shit down? Like it's like what are the stakes exactly? Because Catwoman could just wait, and the government will stop this because again, this cream is killing people.
Well, she went in and and confronted somebody about their bad business dealings, and they killed her. And then some
Okay,
cat licked her face, and she came back from the dead.
okay. So I mean, if you want to go very realistic here, King Crazy, then let's
Yeah.
compare it to the real world Johnson and Johnson. How many years did they get away before their powder was considered to be cancerous?
Ooh,
Okay, the cream thing was immediate. The powder thing, yeah, that I'll, I'll give you that one.
hey Elvish.
So here's where I would put Green Lantern as worse than Catwoman. Green Lantern had everything going for that should have been right. You have a straight plot. Hal Jordan gets a ring, all this stuff. He goes. You have a villain, Sinestro, who is by far the easiest option as how you do a first main villain, a Green Lantern who's supposed to be trusted, who then gets succumbs, and then I'm expecting that the final battle just be him versus Sinestro and ends with it. Why the hell would you introduce Parallax, which is
Right,
so much further down the Green Lantern timeline
right.
of villainry? Not to mention that you make it in the worst possible way because Parallax possesses this random nobody and just makes his head bigger.
Actually, that is a character from the comics. So like, okay, I see what you're saying. Like it should have been big head guy, can't remember his name, big head guy, then Sinestro, and then later down the line, Parallax. Like that would have made much more sense. Like I see what you're saying, but as a starter villain, big head guy was like he was like a throwaway. He was Ironmonger.
Yeah, but for your
He-
first villain of a movie, you don't want him to be a throwaway villain. That's what Sinestro was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a movie about Hal Jordan finding out that Sinestro was actually evil, stopping him, and then the end of that movie, him getting the Yellow Lantern ring. That should have been the first movie, not this piece
right,
of trash
but
villainous.
but the thing about Sinestro in almost every other timeline he's in is that yeah he was good, but then he saw the Green Lanterns were losing. Then he went. Then he started using it. Like he wasn't like evil quote. He was
He
looking
was
for a different
pragmatic.
way.
He was pragmatic.
Yes,
Let's be real.
it's like he started to believe that fear was a better way to police the universe than will. Like he was still trying to police the universe just with fear. and that's why he's an antagonist. He wasn't like evil. He was
He
different.
still wanted safety for different sectors, but he was still just kind of a jerk about it.
Yeah.
Let's say it like that.
That would have
And the
still been a
person you're
good.
talking about with the big head was Hector Hammond.
Yes.
But I still look at it this way: that would have still been a good story setup, where it shows this is a new guy coming in, seeing how ineffective the regular Green Lantern Corps are with how their policies are, seeing Sinestro being a bit more extremist in the teaching of his area, and them having to come to the side with his morals, whether or not he wants to follow Sinestro and be that extreme, or follow the actual Green Lantern path. And then the end fight being him and Sinestro against each other based on the different views. He defeats Sinestro, and then Sinestro comes back at a later point, maybe the end credit scene, seeing him get a yellow lantern ring. Or
That
say,
would be a good thing.
Sinestro, you have great fear within you. And then you see the yellow light outside, and if you want to hit Parallax, then that would have been fine, just like a little silhouette and a yellow light. That would have been a great movie. Not introduce Parallax, which is supposed to be a much higher tier of villain this early in the thing, and then kill
Right.
him off as well. How do you
Especially
kill off?
right in his first adventure, he shouldn't be. It's bad power scaling.
Yeah.
Let's say it like that.
Yes. And I will say this. You do have a point where, like, okay, it's this question of fear versus will, yada, yada, yada. And Sinestro was saying, okay, we need to use the power of will against him, and yada, yada, yada. And then he beats Hammond, beats Parallax, this whole thing. And the after credit scene, you see Sinestro just put the ring on because whatever. Like, it's like they already got proven. Like, Sinestro shows up and saves Hal from falling into the sun at the end. And, it was like proof positive. Will beats fear. And then Sinestro just, tries the ring on anyway.
But here's the problem with that, though. He defeats Parallax. What powers Yellow Lantern? Parallax.
Yep. So
So
it kind of defeats every conflict further on in the thing. That the next thing that they would have to bring in would be like Red Lanterns or something, or
if
Darkest Night or Blackest Night, whatever it's called.
that's why I felt that Dave did it so bad that at no point in the future of DC movies did they ever bring back a live action Green Lantern. That's how bad impact this movie had.
There's never been
Literally,
a
they were like,
Catwoman movie again.
I
no,
just want to mention
but
that
Catwoman has appeared in the Nolan movies.
Not that Catwoman.
Doesn't matter, but the Catwoman character. The fact being, have you seen the Green Lantern in any live action DC movie since?
Justice League.
no, he wasn't.
They had a Green Lantern in the past, which is before present day Green Lantern, and that character disappeared.
Yeah, he died.
Flashback. Also, no. Let me rephrase that. That's the
Kind of like a punk.
And
that's the Snyder Cut version.
yeah, that's
of
the
it.
Snyder cut.
The original Justice League didn't even have that Green Lantern in it.
Snyder wanted Ryan Reynolds to come back as Hal Jordan for the Justice League movie. I believe.
No.
And he was like, nah, chill.
No, I don't remember which one it was, but I think it was the Justice version where you see that Green Lantern actually, like, use his imagination to make like a fist or something. But the Snyder version is just green laser, green laser, green laser, dead.
I don't recall there being a Green Lantern in the Josh version. I think it was only in the
No, it was there.
I think
was
he's
very
right.
brief, but it was
we just kind of blocked out that piece of crap. But anyway,
it was only there for a short scene. It wasn't even Hal Jordan.
right. So this is what we're talking about. If Hal Jordan was in any other movies, and he hasn't been, and that's fair. But also, I don't want to talk about the Dark Knight movies because I didn't like them.
Understood. But yes, Catwoman as a movie, although it was bad, it was not a character destruction movie as Green Lantern was. Like because Selena Kyle still poses the love interest of Batman, which is why they bring Selena Kyle in future appearances.
Right.
I do feel like there's
no
way that there can not be a Selena Kyle in a Batman movie, or at least if there's if Selena Kyle isn't in it, it's either her or Talia al Ghul. So it's not really fair to say that she shows up and Hal Jordan doesn't, because they can they can just replace Hal Jordan with any other person with
No,
a
they
green
didn't
suit
though.
and
That's the
superpowers.
thing. They didn't even give you like a John Stewart or any, or even like a Kyle Rayner. They didn't even use a single human Green Lantern to replace Hal Jordan.
That's true, and they suck for that. But
Meanwhile,
at the same
right.
time,
Meanwhile, no, sorry. Yeah, but meanwhile, they'll bring in Catwoman just to be a booty call for Batman.
right.
That's not better.
It's not. It isn't. But I don't think it has to do with the Catwoman movie, because the Catwoman movie is infamous for being terrible. It won a
Yes.
Razzie, and Halle Berry happily accepted the Razzie, because even
Yep.
she said that the movie was dookie.
And Green Lantern was so bad that there was a Deadpool 2 end screen skit where he goes back in the past and shoots himself before he takes the Green Lantern script.
In both Deadpool movies, he mentions that the Green Lantern movie, or does something to show that the Green Lantern movie was terrible.
Yep. So I mean, in both cases, we have callbacks in the future of how bad the movie was. But between the two of them, one of them was a movie about a side villain just so they could play Halle Berry. Another one was a movie which was based on a well set up character of a primary character of the Justice League that should have been an easy victory of a movie because you literally have so many comics that you can pull plots from. And they destroyed it so bad that no one ever made a reboot or future movie of Green Lantern.
I want to say something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're gonna have to judge this anyway, and I just want to say that Taika Waititi was in this movie as a character, and I did not know it.
Which one, Green Lantern or Catwoman?
Green Lantern.
Was he the bird fin guy?
No. He was an engineer at the at Ferris whatchamacallit, Garage Air, whatever it's called, aircraft.
Ferris Air.
Yeah. So that was wild. Also, Clancy Brown was in it, and I knew Michael Clark Duncan was Kilowog,
Yes.
because he got that voice. But I didn't like Angela Bassett as
Amanda
Waller.
Waller.
Yeah,
For all the 4 minutes that we got her.
yeah. But like I said, all of these movies tend to have a similar characteristic of getting really, really big names in acting and just saying, "Hey, we're gonna throw this piece of crap script at you. Act." They're like, "Hey, it's gonna pay me money." And as far as the box office goes on Green Lantern, the budget was $200 million, and worldwide box office was, like, their earnings were 219 million. So they only made like 19 million in profit.
Does
So
the 200 million count for marketing?
probably, I
Because
I
if
don't
it
really
didn't count
know.
for marketing, then they made no money.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is bad. Let me look at Catwoman real quick. We should start judging this anyway. These movies anyway. So like,
Like I would honestly say that Catwoman is worse.
the plot of Catwoman was doo doo butter on toast. Um, I was okay-ish with Green Lantern. I'm on the fence, but I think the plot of Catwoman is worse in comparison. Faithful character representation.
I think the plot of Green Lantern is worse just because they actually kill off the entity of the Yellow Lantern.
Okay, that's 1.4
Okay,
and
but
1 point against, and 1 point in the middle. We'll get back to that.
mhm.
Faithful character representation.
Green
Um,
Lantern was more faithful to characters than Catwoman was, 100%.
okay, so I agree.
Yeah, Catwoman walks into a bar or a club and just started throwing her whip around. It's like, what are you doing?
Right.
Literally, what is this scene? You could actually seriously hurt someone. You're just walking around in your costume.
She's not a hero.
Her weird cut-up costume.
I
And
mean, if you want weird color costumes, then you got to go back to that Tim Burton's Batman.
nope, we're not doing that. Anyway,
Here's the
casting.
thing, though. That was actually but the Catwoman in that movie was actually having fun. Like it was. Okay, there's a whole other discussion. We gotta say that for the so bad it's good stream,
Fair enough.
but casting, even Halle Berry, the stars of the movie were shit. So there's that, and yeah,
The same thing is also for Ryan Reynolds, who also said that his movie was shit.
Yep,
yes,
it's true.
but aside from him, let's see, with Catwoman, you had Sharon Stone as Granite Lady with her completely nonsense plan, and Lou Diamond Phillips, I think, as the cop.
No,
That's all I remember.
I don't think it was Lou Diamond Phillips.
You sure?
I'm half positive. I'm pretty sure it was the guy who was a detective in Law and Order, and I forgot his name. Benjamin Bratt.
Oh, pardon me. Oh, and they also had the guy who played the Merovingian as Sharon Stone's husband.
Oh, Lambert
So
Wilson.
yes,
Alex Borstein was in this? Right. She was. Catwoman loses, and that's all I got to say. As far as casting goes.
Yeah, Catwoman is a worst casting.
Well, Green Lantern, Reynolds, Mark Strong, Taika Waititi, Peter Sarsgaard, Angela Bassett, Blake Lively.
Just want to say how it's interesting that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were cast in this. Were they specifically requested? Because I know they got married sometime after this movie.
I do not know.
Holy crap. As far as budget goes, Catwoman did worse than Green Lantern. The budget was like 100 million and the box office earnings were 82.1 million.
Okay, so it was a full flop then. Okay. So if we were to gauge the other points as well, aside from plot, I believe Catwoman overall is worse out of the two of these.
Yeah. So Catwoman goes farther.
Point goes to Catwoman. You just eat through how bad you are.
Congratulations, Hallie.
Here's another award from 3 people you'll never meet in your life. Okay.
Now the hard one. Speed Racer versus Percy Jackson.
Oof.
Speed Racer came out in 2008. So there's an issue as far as the film goes because it's an adaptation of the dub of Speed Racer.
Yes, it's an adaptation of the American cartoon Speed Racer.
Because we can't really say that it was an adaptation of the Japanese version, because the Japanese version is called Mak Go Go. And, they did the thing that 4Kids started doing back in the 60s. Well, this company that translated everything and dubbed it changed all the names like 4Kids did to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and a whole bunch of other things. So a general plot of Speed Racer in general is a teenager races his super modded car against a whole bunch of other racers who don't have modded cars, and he always wins and he always cheats. Also, his dead brother, or not dead brother, is racing under an alias, but he also works for Interpol or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's the general plot of the movie, too.
Well, no, no. The movie changes it up a bit. The movie has it where it's a conglomerate who's trying to destroy his dad's company. And one of the reasons why Speed Racer is racing in this thing is to save his dad's company.
Right.
And everyone in this one has modded vehicles because Speed Racer is not the only one who has. Sorry, not Speed Racer. The character who is that's it. Speed Racer, you're right. He no he. Everyone has modded vehicles in this version, so it's a more fair playing field. And in this one, he tends to use his stuff only in reaction to when other people use their stuff against him.
Okay. Right.
And
Right.
I will say one thing I did enjoy with this movie was the ingenuity of how they created the tracks for this. I love how the various racing tracks in this were really created to deal with the absurdity of Speed Racer, where you have these modified vehicles and the tracks take advantage of these modified vehicles.
Hmm.
And I mean, I think that that's really what I enjoyed it for. The fact that although this movie isn't the best, it's not. This is really an adaptation of the cartoon, but it is a nice little film that still I enjoy just because they kept true a bit true to what Speed Racer was. I don't recall if Racer X and this one was his brother or not. I think they did a bait and switch of
It
Racer
is.
X and the
He is the
Oh,
brother. He's still
uh,
Rex.
okay, it's still Rex. Okay, I could have sworn they
oh
did
yeah.
the bait and switch in the movie.
Oh, they did because it was like he. It's like Sirius was like, "Come on, you're my brother. Just stop the bullshit." And then the dude on Master Silver is like, "Oh, it's not his brother." But then right at the end of the movie, the dude's wife is like, "So you're gonna tell them?" And then you see this whole thing, this whole flashback where he faked his death, got plastic surgery, and is in fact Sirius's brother, but
That's right.
he can't tell him just yet.
That's correct, and and the reason why he changed his identity is to keep his family safe because of people wanting to kill him.
But
Right.
it was a thing. It wasn't super terrible, and even kind of uh rejuvenated interest in the Speed Racer franchise. So they started making new cartoons and stuff and anime. And yeah, it did poorly at the box office.
Yes, it did. Because as a concept, really the only people who will go to support this are the people who grew up with the Speed Racer cartoon.
Exactly.
And even then, a lot of them, like I myself, go to Racer cartoon, but I had no interest in watching this in theaters. So even then, it was destined to flop because of that. And I think that was the curse of Speed Racer. Speed Racer was a far fetched idea that only really works as a cartoon setting. If they made it into like an animated movie that they released on, like say Cartoon Network, that would have probably had more success than the live action movie for this.
I think the issue is that back in 2008, I think when it was released, um, most of the people who had seen it as children were either in college or had college age children because Speed Racer, besides being an anime, was brought to the United States in the 60s and dubbed over and all of that. So who the heck is going to go see a live action version of a movie of a cartoon that was prevalent maybe 40 years ago, excuse me.
It's true, you're right, because this movie was aimed for kids, and the same kids are like, "What the hell is this?"
Right. And anybody who did take their kids to see it or whatever, their kids probably weren't that interested until the new cartoons came out, which I don't think did that well either.
Mm.
So you got I'm not gonna lie. Again, as the theme is going with all of these movies, all-star cast: Christina Ricci, John Goodman, Susan Sarandon.
He is lovely.
It's just a very weird.
Oh yeah. Just just make sure because I'm not that knowledgeable on the original Sea
Mhm,
Racer.
mhm.
Speed and Trixie are brother and sister, right?
No, Speed and
No,
Trixie are
no,
dating.
dated. They are dated.
They were dating in
It,
the original.
yes.
Yeah, it was the 60s, so they didn't really show um physical affection towards each other as much on in the cartoon, in the anime, whatever you want to call it. So it was more of a they very clearly like each other and they're going to be very coy about it.
Yeah, yeah. So, it is literally Legend of Korra tear of stating that her and Asami are together.
Yeah, yeah.
Just double checking. Because there's him, there's the little brother, there's the dad, the mom, Racer X,
And
and there she is.
Trixie's the
Okay,
girl. Yeah, Trixie's
it's
the
sure.
girlfriend. This is not Sailor Moon, where we went from having two lesbians to cousins who have lesbian tendencies to each other.
Which is worse when you think about it.
It is worse.
Right.
Cousins should not be that close.
Anyway, moving on to Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson was riding the curtails of that era of young adult adaptations for everything.
Oh
We
yeah.
had Twilight, we had
The
Hunger
Hunger
Games, we
Games,
had
Divergent.
Divergence, which I actually should put up in here instead of Percy Jackson, but I didn't want to put anyone through the torture of watching Divergent.
I
That's
mean, King
fine.
Crazy saw it, and I would
Ugh.
have tried to watch.
But yes, but Percy Jackson is that young adult thing where the concept is that for the first movie at least is Zeus's lightning has been stolen. Um, uh, he accuses Poseidon of stealing his lightning bolt, and so Percy, being Poseidon's unofficial child, because he was never really acknowledged by Poseidon, never came out and told him, "Hey, I'm your dad," because gods are like that. Percy is tasked to getting back the lightning that was stolen and to give back to Zeus before, if I recall correctly, an all-out war. Is that what Zeus was going
I
to do?
believe
War?
I
so.
think his mom was kidnapped.
His
Yeah,
mother was also kidnapped.
his
On
mother was
top of
also
it,
his mother was also kidnapped, and that encouraged him to do the task that he had to. So then you end up finding out that in his school he had his best friend in quotation marks is actually a fawn who was pretending to be a human in a wheelchair so that he can hide his goat legs.
yes,
The teacher, if I recall correctly, was a centaur.
yep.
Pierce Brosnan.
It
Is that his
was
name?
it was Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
It
And
was James Bond who was his teacher.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. And I forgot what his love interest was.
Uh,
Like
I think it was Athena's daughter or something like
I
that.
think it's yeah, something like that. So this goes on into being a mission style story where he's going all over. This is a kid, mind you, with a phone and going all over America to try and find specific things, the clues and no, not well, he had to go rescue his mom, and he also had to do something else. I'm very, very raw
It.
with Percy Jackson in my head. It's been so damn long.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm just going to read through it.
Save his mom, get the lightning. Something to do with Hades.
Right.
Yeah,
They
no,
have
because
to
his
get something from
mom's soul
Persephone.
was in Hades. His mom's soul was in Hades. I remember that much.
Yes.
So
With
this just gives you a
with
hint on
really
how.
horny Rosario Dawson.
Yeah,
Okay,
Persephone. She was Persephone.
exactly. It makes
Yeah.
sense.
Percy is visited by an apparition of Hades who reveals the Minotaur abducted his mother to the underworld to trade for the lightning bolt.
Ah, that's what it was. Yeah. Again, Percy Jackson compared to Speed Racer is more forgettable. Like I watched Percy Jackson more closer to now than Speed Racer I did for Speed Racer, but I can remember more Speed Racer's plot than Percy Jackson.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Again, it falls into the same trap that Ericon did. It was generic. There was nothing in the Percy Jackson movie that made it stand out from fantasy, from young adult. And I mean, don't get me wrong, this is not Artemis Fowl tier bad. If people here watch Artemis Fowl, I would have put this on instead. But in its own right, was there anything in this movie that was redeeming?
Um, no.
Hmm.
I don't remember any of the people except for Brandon T. Jackson and Alexandra Daddario. And Uma
See,
Thurman was in it. She was
I see.
Medusa.
yeah, I remember it was
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Medusa, and then she died off really quickly, so I didn't really remember her that much in this. Again, the most memorable character in this movie wasn't even Percy himself; it was the Fawn, his friend. I
Grover.
Yeah.
think that was probably the most memorable person of this entire movie to me, and it's bad when the secondary characters is more memorable to people than the protagonist.
I'm actually
Yeah.
more surprised that Percy was the son of Poseidon and not the son of Zeus, because you know how it goes with all of these
Yep.
Greek
So
mythology things
the
that
reason
Zeus is
why
somebody's
they
dad.
did that choice was because the whole concept is because Zeus's lightning is stolen. It behooves. It was saying that because it was they believe Poseidon stole it. It has to be a son of Poseidon who brings the lightning back to Zeus. That's how the whole concept of it is. If he was a son of Zeus, then it wouldn't have made sense for the plot. Unless Poseidon's trident got stolen, and then now as the son of Zeus, he has to go and get Poseidon's trident.
Right. Wasn't the bad guy
Hermes' son,
Hermes'
I think.
son? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dumb. Okay.
Yep. Also, the only other thing of this movie I remember is when he finally gets to the camp. Yes, this movie has mythological camp where there is this one part where they do like these team battles where two
Team
teams.
building exercises with the demigods.
Yeah, but I mean, this movie all in all was forgettable.
On the
Like
bright
if
side, this is a movie that Sean Bean didn't die in.
which is a miracle in
Yeah,
itself.
true.
But you know what? No, he died of lack of
Boredom.
importance. Lack of importance. He was so irrelevant to the movie, he just disappeared in the background.
I mean, he was Zeus though, so yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
he came in at the start, he came in at the end, and that was really it. Throughout the rest of the movie, was Zeus really there?
That's true.
Literally, Zeus was acting like his real life self, absentee father.
Oof.
He's not even a dad.
Oof.
That's the hilarious part. He's not. No, sorry, he's not even the dad in this because I think one of the kids, at least in the demigod camp, is probably one of his spawn.
Like half of the world claims to be Zeus's kid at this point.
Yep.
So
Probably
So,
right.
so between these two movies, which one was closer to the source material? I think both of them were close enough to the source material that I would give them. I would not take a point. I would not put them as a point. They were both very close to their source materials in terms of what they did. Speed Racer source material isn't that widespread. I'm talking the US one, but the main concept was there. Racer X exposing a plot. Speed find out that his brother's really not dead and helping him. Speed wins the race. The main plot's there for Speed Racer is in there. That's why I say it at least follows the plot enough for me to count it as close enough.
yeah,
Percy Jackson.
it's close. Yeah,
Yep. For overall plot, I at least enjoyed Speed Racer's plot for some of the things that it did. It felt like it was outdated because it was based on a 60s cartoon, but I enjoyed what was there for Speed Racer, especially the racing scenes in it, which were very imaginative with how they did the various action scenes for it and all other stuff compared to Percy Jackson, where it's like, yeah, he does this, he beats Medusa. He does this, he beats something. It's not really interesting how
we
he
know
beats
he's
it.
gonna win essentially, but I feel
Yeah.
like it's kind of that's the thing.
Now
Right.
here's the tiebreaker: casting.
Both have all-star casts, and I can't see John Goodman as uh Paul Racer. I forgot the dad's name. Pop Racer.
I was
Like
okay with that because
Yeah, me too.
he still acted like he didn't want Speed to race because of how dangerous it was, and he was always afraid of losing another son.
right.
I felt it came out through his acting that was the main reason he wanted Speed Racer not to do anything. He's like, I lost your brother. I don't want to lose you the same way to this racing.
That's fair.
Right.
That's fair. With the Percy Jackson thing, I didn't read the book, so I can't really say if the casting was good for the characters, but they were all boring.
Yeah.
You know, every character was boring. Even Grover, who was supposed to be the comic relief, wasn't doing it for me.
Which is what I said. It basically suffers Aragon syndrome again.
Yeah.
So
They couldn't make a book interesting. That's really how it was. And I think between these two, I have to say Percy Jackson's the worst of the two. That's personally from me.
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I'm gonna go with you too. Being crazy? You agree?
I agree.
Okay.
Okay, Percy Jackson, you move on down. You're
Bow,
the
bow,
next
bow,
contestant
bow.
on the Price is Wrong.
Yeah.
Resident Evil versus Wonder Woman 1984. And by the way, I'm mostly just gonna talk about um the first Resident Evil. I'll mention some of the other Resident Evils, but let's just stick with the first one for now. Unless you guys want to like put in some other stuff about the other ones.
No, it's fine because I could tell you right now, some of the future Resident Evil movies were also uninteresting that they bled into each other.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
go ahead.
that's like at first the whole thing with Alice. It was interesting. It was like okay, Umbrella on top of all the other crap that it does has this whole secret project creating this person to do whatever, and now this new element is stuck in Raccoon City with all the other characters, or well, the characters were there, so it was something. And then they gave her psychic powers,
Right.
and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I think my biggest issue with well, maybe not my biggest issue, but one of my issues with it is that Alice is just completely custom character. They just put her in because she was married to the director.
Yep.
Wait, I thought the director was married to Well, wait, no. Alice is the protagonist, right?
Yeah, Jovovich.
Yes, that's correct. That's
Wait,
correct. Yes,
wait,
yes, yes.
hold up a second. Um,
What was the kid's name or the kid AI or whatever the hell it was?
Uh, Red Queen. I don't remember what her name was.
damn,
Because
can't remember,
I
but
was mixing up that one when you said Alice. I was like, wait, is that the AI that did the whole laser thing and killed
No,
people?
no, no.
wait, was that the
Apocalypse was the
second one?
second one. Apocalypse was the second one.
No, but
Right.
wasn't the lasers in the first one as well when they had to go under the mansion
Oh,
and then
yes,
they
yes, yes. That was the first one where the black guy got chopped up in tiny bits
yeah
because he was the
with
only
the
black guy in the
lasers.
movie.
That's what I'm like. That's like really the only scene from Res Evil one I remember well. The fact that they had this whole laser scene and everyone in the room died.
Oh, and yes, it's Red Queen.
Yeah, Red Queen. I don't remember what the kid's name is, but I know her father was Dr. Ashford.
Yeah.
So,
So
Little Ashford. That's what we're just going to call her now. But Alice
Wait, wait,
is
wait. You mean the AI?
the actual girl who it was based off of.
Okay, I'm
yeah,
not.
because at the end of the movie, Alice walks up with a little girl. I remember that as the ending part of it.
In two.
Isn't it too? You know, this one said they bleed into each other. That's to tell you how much these movies were not that thing memorable in my head. They
I'll
just
do a
bleed
quick
into shit.
run over of the first one's plot. Essentially, Alice wakes up in a random room in the mansion, and a bunch of stars people come out, or whoever they are, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on here?" And she doesn't know what's going on because she's got amnesia, and there's another guy with her who doesn't know what's going on because he's also got amnesia. Doesn't matter. They go further into the mansion, and turns out there's a secret laboratory. By the way, everybody who worked there is dead because the T virus outbreak. You know, it's Resident Evil. You know what that means.
Yeah,
So they go down. They go into a room, and some of the operatives kind of chill in the room, and then all of a sudden, lasers come down and start slicing some of them up. But the commander, the black guy, who's also the best character in Jason X, R.I.P. Captain, never forget you. Anyway, he goes in, he sees all his people getting chopped up in tiny bits, so he is like, okay, I know what to do. I'll dodge all of these lasers. And then the lasers are like, nah, we gonna turn into a grid and just chop you into cubes. They kill him. Then what's her name who always dies? Michelle Rodriguez sees a zombie and gets bitten by it and gets very mad and shoots the zombie a bunch of times. Zombie goes down, but then gets back up and she's like, "What's going on? I keep on shooting her and she doesn't stay down." And they never think to shoot her in the head because they're all idiots except for Alice and I think Billy or whatever his name is, or Matthew. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, Sunny. Just to point this out, uh, black dude is not the guy from Jason X.
He's
Peter
not,
Mensa is, yeah, Peter Mensa is the guy from Jason X.
and he's not in this. Wait.
Yeah, the guy that you are referring to in Resident Evil is, yeah, Colin Salmon.
Yes,
Salmon.
Yeah. Really? Well, that
Yeah,
sucks.
different people.
Whatever. I'm just gonna pretend like they're bros. Anyway,
He was in multiple James Bond movies, and he was in Alien vs Predator.
also a movie we need to talk about. Anyway, as we know, zombies come around, and most of the stars people get completely wrecked. Michelle Rodriguez has been bitten, and they managed to kill some zombie dogs, but Michelle Rodriguez doesn't turn into a zombie yet. She's been bitten over 12 hours ago. She's still going. They get to a train, and now is the time where she turns into a zombie because that is exactly when they don't need her to be a zombie. Also, there are liquors in the movie. If anybody knows
Yes.
what a liquor is in Resident
Wait.
Evil,
Wasn't Lickers in the first Res Evil as well?
that's what I'm talking about. The first one.
No, I mean in the game as well.
I don't remember, but it was, as far as the plot goes, it does not follow the plot of the first Resident Evil. It centers around Alice. Alice, who is a character who was never in any of these. And
They tried
That's
to be
what
different.
you know. The sad part is, I really regret not putting Resident Evil against Mortal Kombat now because we could have been the battle of self-insert.
hey, you don't know. They might go against each other in the next round.
No, they're not. Resident
Or-
Evil ain't going past this wrong. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fair. So, right. So, essentially, they take away the other dude who had amnesia, and he becomes I forgot what it's called, Nemesis in the second movie.
Yeah.
Right. So that's pretty much it. They get to their goal. Alice, at some point, I believe she ends up naked because in every single movie they have to have a scene of Mia Jovovich naked. I don't know why.
I suspect she signed into a contract that she wants to be naked at least once in each movie.
But she did the same thing in The Fifth Element.
That's what I meant. I believe it's in her contract when they hire her that she wants to be naked at some point in the movie. I feel that's exactly what's in her contract.
And her husband is Paul W.S. Anderson, who you'll know from
Blood Rain.
From literally every video game movie, almost. He directed the first Mortal Kombat movie,
which was somehow good. God knows how he did a good movie.
I mean, if we look at the numbers, like if we look specifically and only at the numbers, then most of his movies are box office hits.
Yeah.
If we look at it that way, because the budget was 33 million and got worldwide 102 million.
Okay. So we know this to be true. He has Michael Bay syndrome.
Yeah.
Michael Bay is the same exact way. God knows how his movie makes money. His movies just make money.
Bro, why didn't we put the Ninja Turtles movie on this?
We could have.
It was good.
But we did. Yeah, that's what.
We're not going into that.
So
first of all, Tyler Perry was in the second one. That automatically makes both movies garbage.
Oh, you mean the newer ones? Never mind. Yeah, they were
Yes,
garbage.
no, not the original. We're not. We said Michael Bay for a reason.
Okay,
Anyway,
pardon me.
let's get Wonder Woman to become the winner of this very quickly. So
Wow.
Wonder Woman plot in 5 seconds.
Also,
Um,
just in case anybody is not ready to hear about the R word, we yell. You shouldn't listen for like at least 5 minutes.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it, but I'll just summarize Wonder Woman in 10 seconds here.
10 seconds, dang.
One woman breaks inside a mall, finds people trying to smuggle out rare artifact. Rare artifact goes towards the Smithsonian, or whatever the equivalent of it is. Not Smithsonian, whatever the hell One Woman works.
Where
Um,
she happens to work and just goes there.
yeah, she goes there and she accidentally makes a wish on it. Random guy knows about the stone because of reading old texts and sneaks his way in by pretending to be he's TV famous, so he sneaks in by pretending to make a donation, gets the stone, wishes to become the stone. Hijinks ensue because of wish shenanigans. Movie ends with stupid plot of not ending the world by renouncing wishes, which makes no damn sense. The end.
So basically, it's a MacGuffin plot.
It is the
Yep.
worst MacGuffin plot ever in all of movies with wishes in it. This is the worst of the worst. There is no consistency to the wishes. There is no consistency to the plot. There is no consistency to the villain. This movie is trash on so many levels. Aside from the fact that Wonder Woman took advantage of a man by accident, and then when she realized what happened, she still took advantage of him willingly. So aside from that, it is a so much levels of garbage that I would rather watch Res Evil over, because at least I enjoyed scenes in that compared to One Woman, which had nothing redeeming for it.
There was one scene in Resident Evil where, okay, I don't know if anybody watched that show, The Following, but the biggest bad guy in that was in Resident Evil, and he was just being, a dick. At least he can get his comeuppance. That was good. I like that. With
Ah,
with Wonder Woman 84, you have Cheetah, arguably one of Wonder Woman's greatest enemies, become a cheetah just because she's wearing cheetah print clothing and
That's
because
nothing else.
disgusting. That's disgusting. It wins automatically. Just
it,
no.
it, I tell you, like, the consistency of the wishes are so dumb. Like, let me put you as the biggest inconsistency of this movie. Hey, we have this technology that uses satellites to talk to people all over the world, and the MacGuffin villain goes, so does that mean that I can touch them? Yes. Okay. Suddenly he can reach into this light that apparently connects to the rest of the world and touch people so their wishes can come through. It is so
Because
many levels
particles.
dumb.
Because
So many levels
particles.
dumb. So many levels. I'm sorry. I think Wonder Woman just wins this by default, but how bad it is.
It's like with Resident Evil, it's like you can count it to be like a dark, like like special forces agents, weird mysteries with this secret mega corporation and yada yada yada. Like there's something there. With Wonder Woman, it's just bouncing all over the place, trying to be funny, but also trying to be action, but trying to be romantic, but trying to be blah 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 blah.
So it's trying too many things at once and also sucking at it.
Also, to make this movie even worse, in the first 5 minutes it breaks continuity. And here's how. In the Batman v Superman has stated that no one has seen or heard from Wonder Woman since World War II, or
One.
well, since World
It
War
was
One
one.
when she appeared.
Yeah.
This movie has her break into a mall in the visibility of so many people, and a single person even says, "Hey, this woman who was in this armor who can fly and stuff, who has this W wherever, came and rescued us."
Yeah. And,
Really?
and, and but how she does it, she just looks at them, says, "Shh," and this one random child just winks at her, and that's everybody just
Oh,
total
and
silence.
to make it even better, the fact is that in order to try and hide her identity, she knocks out cameras, even after camera must have already caught her coming through the ceiling of the mall.
Right. Oh, and that. Oh, and on the most ridiculous scene, like they were just supposed to go walk into this place, get whatever valuable thing that they were getting, and then walk out. And it was going off without a hitch, except for this one guy who can't keep his gun hidden. And then he freaks out, grabs a child, and everybody, even the comas, are like, no. And I'm like, and it's like a full minute of everybody losing their minds. And I'm like, okay, so this man has no plan. These other criminals never had a plan to begin with, and I'm just waiting for one woman to just appear out of nowhere, which she does after going around places and just saving people from random circumstances that she
Okay,
just happens to be around for.
agreed. And you know what? Let's just make it easy. Who win in this one? I say one woman.
Well,
Yeah,
you've convinced me.
like Resident Evil was it was consistent in that movie.
It's
In
Yeah,
that one
camp.
movie,
okay.
it was
In that
consistent.
movie, yeah, in that
Resident
movie.
Evil is campy bad. One woman is just plain bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not disagree.
Okay, and one woman wins by a majority because of how bad it is.
Yep.
Okay. Mulan and Battleship. I'm gonna leave Mulan to King Crazy because he's been holding this rant in the chamber since November.
Go ahead, buddy.
Uh, okay, so to all of you watching, think of that thing that you liked about the original Mulan, if you had happened to see it. It could be the fun characters, it could be the music, it could be the plot, it could be the actual stakes. It could even be, that last, that this whole Mulan not feeling like she knows who she is, but rising up against all opposition, all adversity, even from her own friends, to save China from a really insurmountable force. Seriously, Sean, you could cut through pillars, wooden pillars, one side with a sword, which is pretty beastly. Now, take all of that away and replace it with Chi. Mulan can just do shit because she is Chi. Forget her intelligence, forget her skill, forget everything. She can just do things because she can just decide to do them. The worst moment in this movie, at least to me, was where she just got mad at this guy who is not Shang. He's supposed to be Shang, but he's not. And because this man had the audacity to even pose any sort of a challenge to her, she completely schools him in front of everybody, realizes what she just did, walks back into her tent, and chastises herself that she has to keep holding back so that they can't tell that she's some super chi warrior or a woman or something. And it's like that's supposed to that's one of the scenes that's supposed to replace when Mulan gets the two golden things, wraps them around the pillar, and uses what the metaphors of strength and discipline or whatever the hell the old movie said to actually, complete a difficult task. Instead, she'll just not lose on purpose, but tie somebody on purpose just to keep herself hidden, even though everybody can see it. She is she's back flipping off horses, kicking spears back into the people that threw them, and tricking people into killing themselves with catapults that appear out of nowhere to cause an avalanche on a mountain that also appeared out of nowhere. And then you have you have this scene that's supposed to be, oh, we're going to give you these two buckets of water, heavy buckets, and you're going to climb up this mountain without spilling them or dropping arms or whatever. It's supposed to teach a lesson of some kind. Some people can't do it, whatever. But then, after everyone's trying like hell to, just do this thing, she, with her chi, just decides to do it. She just does it. And then, instead of having any music, they just, when she gets up to the top, she's like, do 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 do. And I'm like, that's borderline insulting. But it doesn't stop there because the big reveal where Hua Jin is a woman and she's supposed and this is supposed to be like a death sentence. They keep hinting that if the Chinese army finds out, she's dead, and she but they know her well enough that like okay they're just going to banish her, and she says, "I would rather die than be banished," and that's where I'm like, why? Why would you say what? But then the one person in this movie who could pose any sort of a challenge to her, the evil witch lady, she straight up tells Mulan the entirety of the evil plan. Mulan's like, no, I don't want to join you. Evil lady just leaves. And then Mulan runs back to the army and tells them what the bad guys are going to do. And Donnie Yen, yes, Donnie Yen is like, you're going to lead us into battle. And I am, and I am, and I am like, I'm like Macaulay Culkin like screaming. I'm like, what is happening? What in the world is going on? They like he was just saying that like everyone was just saying that this is a death sentence, but instead of a death sentence, they're going to banish her. But instead of banishing her, they're going to have her lead the army. So
Yep.
then they go, yeah. So then they go. The evil witch lady's like, you actually got them to respect you. My God, like this evil lady's so blown away by this that she completely gives up, leads Mulan all the way to the main bad guy, who, keep this in mind, poses no challenge to her whatsoever. But whatever. The the evil lady tells this man that he's screwed. He shoots an arrow at Mulan, and the evil lady is like, no, and jumps in, and turns into a bird. Yes, turns into a bird, flies into the arrow and dies. And then they have a platformer boss fight, and 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 you, the viewer, have to sit there and pretend that this is even after all the things that you saw. He runs up a wall one time, and that's supposed to justify this fight. Sure. And then, by the way, Jet Li's the Emperor, and he clearly doesn't give a shit about any of this. He's clearly in this for the paycheck. You can see it all over his unexpressive face. And then bad guy knocks Mulan's sword into a smelting thing, and she's like, like this is like this is a huge loss. She can just murder him right now, but Jet Li, with no expression, with no emotion at all, just is like, rise, rise like the phoenix, rise and save China. And then she gets up, and the phoenix bird metaphor thing that was in this movie like 6 times by now shows up behind her and supposed to like mean something. I don't know. And then she kicks him off the thing, or gets him to like cut the rope or whatever shit. She goes to the Emperor, frees him, and then dude tries to shoot an arrow at Jet Li. Jet Li catches it, and then him and Mulan have this weird nod moment. He just, again, no enthusiasm or anything. Just tosses the arrow in the air, and then Mulan kicks off the wall, somersaults the arrow into the dude's chest, and kills him. And then she bows to the Emperor, solidifying the patriarchy.
Solidifying the patriarchy?
Yes, because all that's because in the original movie, it was this like, okay, there was this whole man versus woman thing that mainly the chancellor guy was talking about. Like it was a whole thing like, oh, it's a woman, she'll never have honor, yada yada yada. But over time, using her intelligence, using her bravery, using her actual skill that she gained over training with these people, she was able to actually like actually save the day, to the point where she, in a one-on-one confrontation, well, she doesn't beat Shan Yu, but she, creates a scenario where he just, gets blown up, which is cool, which is fine. Yeah, Mushu, who isn't in this movie, murders the shit out of this guy, and it's fun. And in spite of it all, in spite of all the shit that she did this for, She did this to save her father. She never bows to the Emperor once. She hugs him, and that's it. It's like at most she gives a slight like head nod. She's not on her hands and knees bowing to the Emperor. And the Emperor gives her props and free leave to go home. Offers her a job, but she's like, nah, I just want to go home. And he's like, that's cool. And then he tells Shang, yo, bro, go after that. And that's the movie. Meanwhile, New Mulan, she gets offered the job, she says no, goes back, but the army tails her, offers her a job again. You see the Phoenix again, and now you think she's gonna take it. But who knows? Because a sequel's on the way. During the meeting, she bows to the Emperor again because China.
Oh
We got through.
gosh, that sounds so bad. Now, let me just put Battleship in perspective here.
Okay.
Think of the dumbest aliens you've ever seen in any sci-fi. Now, give them a prize because they're better than the ones in Battleship.
Oof.
Battleship is one of the stupidest concepts for a movie I've ever seen ever existed. So apparently, humans found another planet, sent out something to try and see if they could find intelligent life. Many years later, intelligent life comes back to Earth in the form of these aliens, of whom they lose the ship instantly by crashing into the land, and then three of them end up crashing into the ocean over Hawaii, where this movie takes place. Now, why are these aliens idiotic for what you say? Well, their main means of offense is this spinning top drone thing that needs to spin to win to kill stuff. Where are they located? On the ocean. Is this thing catered to last work in ocean terrain by like gliding on the water or not? No, it's not. And what makes this thing so good? It is literally indestructible. In the entire movie, when it was ever used, no one was ever able to successfully destroy one of these things. That is the first thing. The whole purpose of this is having a land based power over the ocean and expect to have it be used in any form of competency. The second insult: why are your main ships not built of the same indestructible material of your weapon of this drone weapon that you have? The drone weapons are indestructible. The main ships can be taken out by regular military guns. They literally get taken out by battleship guns. These are interplanetary vessels that have survived the harshness of space, including things such as asteroids, which in space a small, simple rock can cause holes in the International Space Station. So these things are strong enough to survive these things, can get destroyed on Earth to simple battleship guns. Third, to add insult to injury, they get taken out by a retired Pearl Harbor battleship. Not even modern day battleships. They had to use a old school one because the technology that the aliens using was disrupting radar and all that stuff. So they had to go old school, and they lost to old school technology. Not even modern day Earth technology. This movie is on so levels of dumb that you can't even turn your brain off to understand how dumb this is. That is why I say Battleship between these two movies is so bad. You can watch Mulan. You can hate Mulan for what it does. But at the end of the day, Mulan gives you a beginning, middle, and end of a story. You watch Battleship and you wonder, are these aliens Beavis and Butthead? Also, to be honest, was in a movie that's meant to be about battleships over the earth, over the ocean. At no point does anyone say the titular line, "You sank my battleship."
Thank you.
So yes, so between these two, I consider Battleship the greatest sin of the two of these.
King Crazy.
I stick with Mulan being worse because it doesn't. Sorry, Battleship doesn't make another movie worse by association. Like it did.
Battleship.
Like it does. Like
Okay, I can
okay,
give you that.
yeah, because now it's like you have to tell your children, no, this other movie that you're seeing, no, this does not exist. you watch the movie, I will smack you. That's what that you tell your children. Like Battleship, you can just leave it on in the background and just whatever because yes, it's one and done. It's over. It's like they're not going to franchise this nonsense.
It's a difficult
Or
decision.
they're not secretly, putting up pro-Chinese police, whatever, in the movie.
Oh boy, let's not get into the politics of
So
outside of the movie.
Mulan is social agenda, which is the main cause of why you don't like the movie. Battleship is just objectively bad on all fronts. The casting bad. God knows how you have a movie with Liam Neeson be this bad. Yes,
I mean,
Liam Neeson is in this
yeah, he's in
movie.
the movie. So is Rihanna.
I mean, no one cares about Rihanna, but yes,
I mean, I'm sure there are people who care about Rihanna.
no one cares about Rihanna, but yes.
Listen, don't get this channel canceled. I don't know what kind of rabid fans she has, so
And okay, but let's see. With the casting, like they had Donnie Yen, they had Jet Li, and then they had trying to remember her name, whatever. And the
whatever.
main bad guy. If you ever saw Balls of Fury, that ping pong movie,
Yes.
the guy that calls the main hero Guilo. Yeah, that's the main bad guy from Mulan. And uh, like after that, it's like you had Donnie Yen, and if you see Donnie Yen movies, you know that they can pull off some pretty crazy stuff, and they do nothing with him. Like they have him explain the principles of chi, but you know, chi as we as humans would understand it, while Mulan, who's like some god mutant thing, can like she's been doing crazy Matrix bullshit since she was 6.
I mean,
Just
so she's Cora. That's fine, and at least she has more of an impact.
no. She's not Korra because, and we had that whole podcast about Avatar: The Airbender. By the way, go watch that. And you were explaining all the many reasons why Korra actually isn't a Mary Sue.
No. That's
She,
after. I'm talking about Korra
yeah.
when she was first born and got her powers. She was basically that. That's what Mulan was at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, then well, yeah.
Because Korra
And
at 4 years old and Mulan at 6 years old apparently have full control and almost mastery of their powers.
right, and okay, and here's another part of it that honestly just annoys me. So Mulan, both movies are based off of this old tale, the Ballad of Mulan, and right around the end of that, there's this whole metaphor where you can have two rabbits. Well, sorry, hares. Uh, one male, one female. You can visibly see that. But once they are in motion, once they're running, you can't tell the difference. And that was the main the main theme of the story. She became a general, unbeknownst to anyone, that she was a woman, and she won battle. She got how many accolades? She went off in peace, and her friends found out after they decided to surprise visit her, and they were like, "What? I mean, what?" Meanwhile, one of the first scenes with our title character in the new Mulan, she runs into the house telling her family that she saw two hares running, and she could tell that it was a man, that was a male and female, like two hares. She
Hmm.
can tell somehow,
Fair enough.
and on top of that, there wasn't really any like hardship for her. Like the worst moment that she has was when her friends just leave her after they found out that she was lying to them for weeks, if not months. She has a sad moment, but then the witch lady shows up, gives her critical information for the end of this movie. She goes back, and everyone instantly forgives her and gives her a leadership role. It's like there are some characters that people argue that are Mary Sue's, and then there's this. It's like, how is she not a Mary Sue is the better question. Because it's like everybody, even the main, even the most powerful villain that they have, just inexplicably love her. It's like it's like the main villain, the dude, is the only person in this movie who's not utterly fawning over this lady. And that's only because she's the literal one thing standing between him and winning, besides his own stupidity, for not just killing Jet Li when he had the chance. Which is weird because Jet Li was already kind of dead anyway in this whole movie. So he wasn't. Seriously, he had one facial expression the entire time, and it was like, oh, he had the customer service face. He just didn't give a shit about any of this.
But at the end of the day, you had the beginning to end of a movie where it was a woman's journey from starting off being that to becoming something at the end. Battleship is about, hey, lol, aliens, let's come to do some stuff. Hey, lol, we decide to fight on the worst terrain that we need for our survival, and apparently we can't land. So one of our ships crashed and got blown up. And who defeats us? Rihanna and pals in
Oof.
an old rickety battleship because our technology is so advanced yet not that we can protect our drone stuff against all arms fire known to man, but our main ships, which are the lifeblood of us, can just get blown up by like 2 shots. Eh, I can't rack my brain about how dumb Battleship is as a movie concept. It not only the fact that it's bad, but it veers away so far away from the source material, which is really two opposing sides of battleships trying to sink the other side. This one is really like, hey, let's do random alien invasion. You know what this reminds me of? Anyone remember that really bad LA invasion alien movie that also came out a while back?
District 9?
Not District 9. District 9 was in LA. It was
Battle of LA?
Battle of LA or what the hell it
Something
was.
like that.
Which was equally as dumb of an alien invasion movie. That's what Battleship falls into. There is nothing in this movie that's redeeming. Not even the actors of this movie can save this movie from the trash fest that it is. At least you can tell me in Mulan there were some good action scenes. There were at least some good
No,
some of
there
the
wasn't.
not a single action scene in Mulan was good. You mean to tell me every
No.
single action in Mulan was bad?
I feel
Okay.
like King Crazy does have a bit of bias in this.
Okay, did you see it?
I saw it and I didn't like it. So
Okay.
I'm not gonna
Okay.
lie. It was kind of crappy. It was doo doo.
Okay. Then you tell me what was a good fight scene.
They were all goofy, mostly because I don't know.
So
I,
were they
I,
like
I like
crouching? Were they like crouching tiger, hidden dragon tier of fight scenes?
uh worse.
I'm actually surprised there was a crouching tiger, hidden dragon. Damn, that's actually really bad. Was the plot at least coherent from start to end?
Honestly, no. Like,
It
okay,
was more coherent than Battleship.
Battleship, I can tell you as a plot, is beyond stupid. And not good stupid. This is bad stupid. This is not a stupid that you can say that you can watch with people just to enjoy the stupidity of it. This is a stupid where you just turn your brain and says, why does this even exist? I think if Rihanna even wanted a career in acting, it died because of this movie. I don't know if she started anything else
uh,
after this, but yeah.
uh there was one movie I'm trying to remember the name of, and she was in it for like a minute, well, 5 minutes, and then she just died because she decided to help the main guy. Uh,
Okay,
something in a person's name and a city of 1,000 planets or whatever.
okay.
It was
It
dumb.
doesn't
It was
matter. It doesn't matter. Look,
yeah.
I would say this: Battleship to me is so much worse on this list that I would rather watch Percy Jackson or Aragon again on our current list than watch Battleship.
so in reality, this is the hardest decision we've had to make.
So
Pretty much.
so Sonny,
The
the vote goes to
tie-breaking
you.
vote.
The
Yeah, I
tiebreaker goes
know.
to you for this one.
Oh God. I want to be petty and say Battleship because there's no mention of you sank my battleship. But in reality, the plot is doo doo butter on toast compared to Mulan. If you look at them solely as whatever they are, just as a movie, instead of like an adaptation of something else. So I'm not going to include character representation and all of that because it wouldn't be fair to Battleship. Um, Mulan has a slightly better plot than Battleship. Also, at the time, Battleship was cashing in on that alien invaders, we have to kill them with all of the forces of humanity has to offer, or whatever.
But you know the sad part is that makes no sense because the era of that was Independence Day, which came like 10 years before it.
That's true, but there was a resurgence with Battle for LA and a few others that came out right after. So Battleship came out in like what, 2010 or 11? 2012, and like this in that decade, or maybe even I'll lower it to like half a decade, from 2011 to 2016, there were a lot of movies about aliens or monsters coming to invade and humans doing all that they could to stop these threats. Like right after this was Pacific Rim, when they while they weren't aliens, they were still giant monsters or
They were
invaders.
aliens. Literally, they were beings from another dimension that were invading Earth. They were
Right.
aliens.
That's fair. So it's like this whole. I'm going to vote that Battleship goes forward. I'm sorry, King Crazy. Mulan sucked farts, but Battleship sucked harder.
Yes, it did.
Fine. Oh, I will say this though. I have been looking through the Fate wiki again, and I'm like, they really never made a Mulan servant.
Good.
Like,
Okay. So,
Oh no, 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 we're not getting into this today.
I mean, there are a lot of female characters of power in Fate,
that's
so you
fine.
could probably use one of them as a Mulan insert. If you're
I
talking
know, but
directly from China, there, I don't think they have one at the moment directly from China that could be a Mulan insert.
I don't know. Like, I know, but it's like they're playing Chinese characters, they play female characters, they play female Chinese characters, and all that other stuff. But for some reason, they never use like maybe they're saving it. I don't know. I don't know. Like it's like I find it to be odd considering that they have like how many other characters that you're like, wow, you're in this game.
Well, here's the
The
thing: a lot of the Chinese characters they use in Fate are from Romance of the Three Kingdoms era.
I don't know, there were a few that were more like well, not from that story.
No, but if you look at it, if you look at the Chinese servants that they have currently in Fate, the vast majority are Romance of the Three Kingdoms servants.
Right, but they had Mulan show up in Spite. No, no, what was that? What's it called? Smite.
Oh, Smite the game.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, tonight is, I mean,
Smite has a lot of people from different stories and mythologies and such. So,
yeah. Anyway, on to the dumpster fire. That is the Legend of Chong
oh,
Li
oh God.
versus Justice League.
It automatically wins. Why are we even discussing this?
Yeah, I think Legend of Chong Li wins this one.
Yeah, we're not
It
going over
was
the
so
plot of that.
shit.
It
It
was.
was so shit.
I
At
call these
least
other
Justice League was
movies doo doo
memeable.
butter. but this is lower than doo-doo butter.
Here's where Justice League edges out Legend of Chun-Li. Justice League had some great action scenes and some great dialogue in certain areas. Legend of Chun-Li just like it as soon as you step inside dog shit. Then when you want to clean it off, you fall over and roll into more dog shit. And then for the entire time you fall down a hill into more dog shit until you land at the bottom of the hill in dog shit, and that's the end of the movie.
I can't even say the main evil group's name properly. They're calling it Shadow Lao. Like, it's Shadow. It's just reading.
Okay,
You literally. Okay.
We're getting into that next.
yes, we are. So yes,
I before we go on to that, I do like. I won't say that I like the casting in Legend of Chun-Li. I just like the people who were cast in the movie, like Neil
ma-
McDonough and Michael Clark Duncan,
the woman who played Lana Lang.
Right.
I forgot her name.
Kristen Krug.
Yes. Sure.
Yeah,
That's her name.
that's
And,
not the one who was in that weird cult, right?
No. That was
Wasn't that the chick from
Allison.
Buffy? That was in the weird cult.
No. Okay. Everybody stop. Neither Kristen Cruick or the lady from Buffy were in the cult. It was Allison Mackey. I think that was her name. Yeah. Chloe from Smallville. She was in the cult.
Oh right, yes, it was Chloe from Smallville. You're correct. I forgot about her. Yeah. That's right.
She tried to get other people, including Kristen Cruick, in the cult, and they were like, no. And that's all we're gonna say about it.
I mean, they laughed at her. They're like, why would they join that cult when Scientology already exists?
Oh,
Ugh.
Yeah, come to me, Scientology. I don't care anymore.
It's just weird. All right, but
also,
Anyway-
wasn't what's his name from the Black Eyed Peas in this movie?
Taboo
Yeah.
as Vega, as
Of
a
all
really
people.
shitty as a really shitty version of Vega.
Anyway, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah,
It's
let's
like
go.
You can refresh.
Yeah, sure.
It's already
Okay.
updated.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, I mean, we literally that was a no contest one. That one was so bad. It was like, are we even?
It was
no.
barely Street Fighter.
And
was
now we
barely
come
Street
against Mortal Kombat 2021 and The Last Airbender. And just like the previous round, is anyone here going to vote against Last Airbender?
No. I'm not. You can say whatever you want about Mortal Kombat, but at least the plot was coherent and it was entertaining. It might not have followed the game series plot as well as I don't want to say as well as it may not have.
Okay, you know what? Mortal Kombat was better for Kano alone. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay,
Mortal
that's fair.
Kombat was better for the action scenes because there was some fights in Mortal Kombat which were beautiful. Last
Which
Airbender
ones?
didn't give me the Scorpion Sub-Zero fights, both the
That was
first
great.
and the last one, both were good. You can't tell me they were bad.
Let's forget
Okay,
about whatever
the first one-
main protagonist's name is or whoever he is. I forgot his name already. It was
The-
very bland
fine.
and boring.
The
But
Jack Sub-Zero fight was also good, where he got his ass whooped and Sub-Zero took his arms off.
right, Sub-Zero is an ineffective assassin, and he should be ashamed of himself. He's been alive for over 400 years, and he still hasn't perfected the art of actually killing someone as an actual assassin. That's all I gotta say. The fight scenes are good.
Yeah.
He just sucks.
Yeah. So yes, I'm ready to put Last Airbender moving up. I mean, I'm
Fair.
sorry, last two ones they were like shoo-ins at this point. I didn't want
Okay.
to.
I just want to say that the earthbending in the last Airbender was
Trash of the
wasn't-
highest order.
What was anyone? Okay,
They
you had, like,
marched
5
and then a
people.
rock floated.
It was
One
pebble,
rock.
it was pebble bending. That's what I call it. It was pebble bending.
Tough would
Only
be
for
ashamed.
another guy to push it. It's like, what was the point of any of you? And also the part that because I finally watched this movie like this morning, and the thing that bugged me, they kept stating the blindingly obvious to the point where half of the movie anybody could have said, yeah, no shit, to anything that someone else had just said. Like, oh, there's this blue thing. Well, what's happening? And then Soka, not soccer, whatever the hell his name is. He's
Listen,
like,
we know their pronunciation of all the names is actual Dookie. So
Okay,
like
worst.
something under us.
We apologize that that you wanted Mortal Kombat, but this is the worst of the worst. Objectively, Last Airbender is worse than Mortal Kombat.
yeah,
I
Mortal
agree.
Kombat was actually way better than The Last Airbender. And this is by Shyamalan.
Yeah, so by Mortal Kombat losing here, we actually say Mortal Kombat is better.
Which says,
No,
oh,
no, no. We're doing worse than the worst. We're literally looking to title the worst movie of all of these 16 movies.
yes. They may very like, who knows? Maybe one day we'll do a whole like worst of the worst of like the worst movies of all time.
It's going to be The Room. What you talking about? It's The Room. Nobody can tell me any different. That's it. It's the winner of
Wait,
worst
hold on.
movie ever.
Wait. Just to make sure, is that
Worst,
the thing with? Wait,
actually,
is The Room the thing with Tommy Wiseau?
Yes.
worst.
Okay.
I'll actually say something for you here. That was actually a very heated combat against Green Lantern and Catwoman, and it actually went to Sunny as the deciding vote as to Catwoman winning that. And the only reason Catwoman won was because Catwoman has a worse plot than Green Lantern. Green Lantern overall has a better plot that's geared towards the actual source material compared to Catwoman. That's the only reason that Catwoman won that vote.
First of all, hold up. Worst. I love Halle Berry, but even she said that this movie was a turd on rice.
Yeah. Look up. Okay, worse. Look up her Razzies win. She explicitly says that Catwoman was garbage.
She does.
Yep, and the same way how Ryan Reynolds says that Green Lantern is garbage. So both of them, the main actors, know that they started in trash, and they wholeheartedly accept that they started in trash.
No. I do. She's great. I just didn't like Catwoman. It was just an excuse to get Halle Berry to wear PVC and use a whip. This was somebody's fantasy somewhere, and she was like, "Whatever, I'm getting a check. Let's go."
And that person's fantasy was like, "Hey, I loved how she looks as Storm. Well, what's if she goes in leather?"
Oh God. Okay, let's start the second round.
Yes, round 2.
This should be way easier.
Oh, hold on. Right, so the first one is Dragon Ball Evolution versus Aragon. Aragon, as bad as you are, DBE, I think, edges out this one easily. I can't even vote for Aragon in this round.
No, Dragon Ball Evolution wins
Worse.
by
So much
default.
worse.
I feel like it's going to be the winner of this whole tournament.
No, because it's going to be Dragon Ball Evolution versus Last Airbender. I'm already calling it.
Ooh.
Well, hey, you never know. Crazy things have happened, but let's go to our next round. Catwoman versus Percy Jackson.
Let me refresh. Also, worst, we're not talking about how the animation was in any of the movies. So that's that. We're just talking about how they go as far as being adapted from different media.
Overall, and
Yeah,
worst.
overall.
You know what? You don't. Your dad did some decent work because the animation in Aragon wasn't bad. I've seen worse animation in fantasy movies, but the plot and a bunch of other things of Aragon made it really bad.
Dookie, absolute, just stanky poo poo.
Yep.
So we're doing Catwoman versus Percy Jackson.
I mean, as much as we rag on Percy Jackson, I count Catwoman worse. I don't even think that's a challenge.
Yeah, it was not nice.
Okay, Catwoman moves on.
Oh
Now
boy!
comes
Oh
the
boy!
battle here.
Oh boy!
What over 1984?
Oh man, what do we?
Okay, so
Who thought this up?
So basically, both movies are bad plots overall. Both movies have stupid plots, stupid concepts, and the only reason I would say that Battleship edges out Wonder Woman for this one is because Wonder Woman at least had some level of decent fight scenes throughout the movie that Battleship cannot claim that it had on itself. I claim what Battleship is worse out of these two.
Okay, just to make sure, what fight scene are you talking about?
So the first one
Hold
where
up, spoilers if y'all haven't seen it. So you know,
okay,
Don't watch it.
the first fight, of course, is the one where she one handedly beats all the people at the start of the movie. I found that to be a decent enough fight. I mean, not the
Wait,
best,
wait,
but
wait. You mean the mall?
the mall scene because she did it did show off her set of skills where she did the lasso, she did all that other stuff. She was able to deflect bullets. It basically did her move set in the thing. Don't get me wrong, this is not as good as Justice League in terms of her action scenes, but I found that 1984 at least had one. This is for like one of the few battle scenes that they did well for it. I think that's
Uh,
for like the only one. Um, Possibly when she was chasing the vehicles. That's a stretch.
I don't know. It's like I don't know. Some of the camera work for that scene with like the running scene was just weird. Like that weird zoom in that they had of her. That was like it was clear green screen, but I don't know. It's like and like how they had her running sometimes, which was like moving at super speed. It didn't look like she was running on the ground. It looked like she was just being like dragged along a thing with her
Yes,
legs moving.
I completely
And
agree with you. The running scenes in Woman 94 were done bad. God knows how they messed that up.
right, and the first thing you're talking about with the mole, I mean, yeah, it's a chance for her to like show off, but it doesn't make any sense. It's honestly like really wacky. Like it's like she pulls a dude through this prop thing. And I was like in that ring circle thing, like you see in the circus. Like that happens. She saves this ridiculous child and slides her into a giant bear, gives her a wink, and expects no one to say anything about any of that. I don't know. It's like it was a weirdly constructed scene.
Okay, so here's how this one I feel is going to break down into. Which one of the two movies you felt had the better characters? I think that's what this can tie down to because you know both plots are bad. We know a lot of what of each of them are bad. In terms of just the characters overall, were there any characters you enjoyed in either of these two movies?
so I'm gonna be fair and say that Battleship is the worst one because I haven't seen Wonder Woman. At everyone's behest, I have not seen Wonder Woman. So and
I'm
also there's no you sang my battleship, so that automatically goes on to the next round for me.
Yep. So, King Crazy. The reason why I did this one is because at least no matter how bad one Woman was, at least we can say that if Max Malone was put inside a different movie, he could have been a better villain.
That is true. Only because if you take out all the Wonder Woman stuff and just had this be like some sort of like weird kind of like liar kind of thing, like dad gets all these powers to like grant wishes, but then at the end he learns that he really does love his son, yada yada. Like that as a Christmas movie, that would have been fine. Like it could have actually worked. He almost brought the end of the world, but he undoes it all to save his son, who he really loves. That that would have been fine for a holiday movie. Then they shoved Wonder Woman in there, and it just got weird.
Yeah, and I can say it wrong. The fact is that Pedro Pascal acted a really good Maxwell Lord. I enjoyed even when he was doing dumb stuff as a character. I enjoyed his actions. Battleship, I cannot claim anyone in that movie did a great job as an actor.
Like, uh, it's like I saw the movie, but I forgot most of it. So
That's to tell you, at least with Wonder Woman, we can say how much we hate that movie. We memorize it more because of some of not only the dumb stuff that happened, but also the fact that Maxwell Lord, Peter Pascal, did a great job acting as this villain. He was just in the wrong movie style role here. He just needed to be in a different type of movie that wasn't about wishes, and we could have gotten a very interesting, charismatic villain. The level of oh my god, what's his face from Jessica Jones?
Kilgrave.
Uh, Kilgrave. He could have been on the level of Kilgrave if he was in a different style movie.
Right. Oh, and what really bugs me about Wonder Woman, it's like it's like the entire third act happens because Maxwell Lord just goes to the White House, happens to go to the president's office, turns around and sees charts, and it's like, ooh, what's that? That's it. It's like that's how the entirety of the final act happens
Yeah, no,
because
don't get.
because he
I do not
no, go ahead.
disagree with you. It is completely dumb how that third act happens. The same way how it's completely dumb how the wishing powers of that movie is. Same way how it's completely dumb how all of Battleship is. That's why I'm saying I'm not disagreeing with you. I think both movies, in terms of plot, are rock bottom. There is nothing redeeming with the plot in either of these movies. That's why for me it had to come down to the acting. That's the only reason why I'm picking Battleship as the worst of these two movies.
I also pick Battleship.
All right,
Also,
Battleship.
Hay Paper. So
Okay.
Battleship is it. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we continue, I want to say one thing about the next bracket or next part of the bracket. I don't care. Think of how you see this movie in general, or how you saw the movie, and think of if you remember the movie or if you forgot the movie. And if you remember the movie for how bad it was, then it clearly was um let's I remember The Last Airbender as being doo doo butter.
Oh yes, I completely remember it, but
And
that's
I
the thing,
don't
though.
necessarily remember The Legend of Chun Li. I remember
I,
who
s-
was in it. That's it.
I say
I remember it vividly.
The Legend of Chong
Bugs me.
Li is bad, forgettable. Last Airbender is bad, rememberable, and the reason why, because Last Airbender, the what the source material for it is so loved that the movie has that much of an impact on you. Legend of Chong-Li doesn't have that loved a source material in terms of, oh god, Chong-Li is the best thing since sliced bread, for people to really have that attachment. If you told me a Legend of Chong-Li was a sequel to Street Fighter 1, where you
Oh
gave
hell
me,
no!
if you gave me like that type of Chung Li or whatever compared to this type of Chung Li, and then I'll be like, well, damn, compared to that movie, this one is trash. Then I would remember it more. That's where I call the difference. However, and I would say this, and please don't hate me for me saying this. As bad as the last Airbender was, and God, it was awful. Last Airbender at least had followed enough beats of the show that it was a more coherent plot. Because at Last Airbender, you knew how it was going to start, you knew how it was going to end, because it was following how the first book of this thing was. There was no what a twist that he suddenly changed how the ending was. If he did, it'll
It's
be even
true.
worse than what it
It
currently was.
followed the plot,
It
and
followed the.
that's
It
it. It
followed the
followed the
plot
plot.
poorly, but it followed the plot.
I think that's the only reason I would say the Last Airbender is not as bad as Legend of Chong Li.
Ouch. I want to disagree with you really bad, but like,
It's like okay, it's like with Airbender. And I watched it this morning for the literally only time I ever will, and and I'm like, and I watched some of the show. I'm like, okay, it can at least pretend to look similar. While Legend of Chun-Li looks nothing like any sort of Street Fighter property.
it's
It looks like
true.
something that it looks like something that you would see off of, I don't know, what was it, ABC Family, if that's even still a thing or whatever it's called now. It's like something like that. It's like some dime a dozen Lifetime Channel movie. It was just bad. But then he just threw Street Fighter names in there. Like you had Michael Clark Duncan in there, not even being a boxer. It was just big black dude. You had the star of the original Mortal Kombat in there as Gen. He was getting his ass kicked constantly.
Right.
You had I want to say it's Taboo, whatever.
It's
Taboo for the
taboo.
Black
It's
Eyed Peas
taboo.
as for
Vega.
the Black Eyed Peas as Vega, and it's like you. Okay, no offense to him, but it's like you want this dude to say, "Oh, my face, my pretty face." Like, really? Him?
Yeah. So,
Him?
Legend of Chun Li is basically the worst timeline of Super Mario Brothers movie. Because Super Mario
Oof.
Bros. is bad in the same sense of how Chun Li was destroying characters, but Super Mario Bros. Was at least enjoyable bad. This was just
Yeah.
plain forgettable bad, and that's why most of us don't remember. This is like Thor 2 levels of no one cares about Malekith.
Right. Oh, and on the weird part, it's like you have Bison just like he dies, and he doesn't show any sort of weird psychic abilities at all. He's just really strong dude in suit. And then and then
That's the
Chun-Li
role
does
that
this
that actor
weird.
always plays, though. Sorry to
Yes,
interrupt, but
yes. She does some weird neck twist on them, and then he and then he looks at his daughter Rose, and then they have like a weird moment, a stereo contest, and now Rose is just weird. It's like, oh snap, Bison's transported his soul into Rose's body, and he's coming back for the Street Fighter tournament that they're bringing up in the last whatever. I'm like, what?
yeah,
What?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
So
ugly
for
psychic
this
powers.
for this one, I vote Chun Li. God help me, I vote Chun Li over Airbender. God help me.
Yeah, you better pray.
Yeah. So, oh god, that movie was shit.
So, what are
And now
you guys voting? I'm on Chun Li, unfortunately.
Chun Li, Chun Li's so much worse. Okay, so I think we have our final four.
Yeah, we do. I want The Last Airbender to be the worst, but The Legend of Chun Li was just. Let's just. Did you just update it? Can you just update it? I
Yep,
don't want to
I
talk.
updated it. It's already
Okay,
updated.
good. We're just gonna continue.
So we are down to the final four here. The trashiest of the trashiest of the trashy.
Okay, this is how it's gonna go. We already know how it's gonna be. Catwoman loses.
Yeah.
Battleship loses.
Wait,
That's
wait,
it.
wait. Hold on, hold on. For Battleship and Chung Li, I would actually have to argue that.
Ooh, this is gonna be fun.
Really? Okay.
Okay,
Where's your argument?
so here's my argument for Battleship against Legend of Chung Li. Legend of Chung Li wins this round because Legend of Chung Li destroys Street Fighter. Battleship doesn't destroy anything. The end.
Battleship failed to sink my
True.
battleship.
Okay, so Legend of like Cinderella's story just comes out of nowhere to damn near win the whole thing. Warms your heart. And now we have DBE versus Catwoman.
Yes, and for this one, sorry, no, now Dragon Ball Evolution, of course, beats out Catwoman. I've already updated both. I
Yeah,
don't think
I
there's
know.
anyone who would say that. And now we're down to the last two. And I would honestly say this between the two of them, I think here is how you have to vote this. Which of these movies you felt destroyed their franchise more than the other?
Ooh, so
Wait,
the Legend
actually,
of
hold up.
okay.
Hold up. Because I was actually gonna, put in a vote for Catwoman.
I was
Why?
going to vote Evolution. I think Sonny was also going to vote Evolution.
I was voting for Dragon Ball Evolution. You would have lost anyway, my dude.
Okay, fine. But let me say my reasoning.
Go
Sure, go
for
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
This all
Okay.
you.
The reason is, in spite of it all, in spite of everything, at least DBE got to play with more than one character from from the original work. All Catwoman had was Catwoman, and they barely even got that right. Like,
To be fair with that, though, DB is always an ensemble cast show. Catwoman is usually a solo by herself, especially if it's villain. It's usually a solo act. I mean, the most they could probably have is Batman, but she's usually a solo act.
Right.
right, but okay, like they bring up another female-centered DC movie, Harley Quinn. They could have had her deal with more Joker stuff, but they actually gave her some other villains. They gave her Black Mask and Victor Zsasz, and I never saw the movie. I saw the trailer, but
Okay.
yeah, like, okay, but they were like they at least very poorly tried. Meanwhile, you have DB. They had more than white Goku.
So here's what I'm gonna say. Think of it this way. Catwoman ruined only one character, and Dragon Ball Evolution ruined about 12.
It did. It ruined Goku. It ruined Chi Chi. It ruined
Yamcha,
Master Roshi. It ruined Yamcha. It ruined Piccolo. It ruined Ma. Is it Mai? Her name is
Mai.
Mai. It ruined a lot of characters.
Okay, fine. You already voted anyway. I'm just like, okay, let me just say my piece.
Yeah, I still wanted to destroy your argument.
But funny enough, we both of these franchises have destroyed multiple characters, so we can't use that argument for this final one here.
No.
TV versus Legend of Chun-Li. That's why I said which one of these has destroyed the franchise more. And the reason why I say Dragon Ball Evolution wins this, and I would say this, is that Legend of Chun-Li did not make Capcom want to make a better Street Fighter.
Right.
Dragon Ball Evolution was so bad, it made Akira Toriyama make a whole new Dragon Ball series. I think it's the only reason I count Evolution as worse out of these two movies.
I agree. Think of it this way. If the creator who is already tired of the series that he created comes back because of a film adaptation and says, "Now I've got to get back into this dookie that I hate, dig into it and pull out a flawed gem," because Dragon Ball Super isn't that great. Dragon Ball Super ain't that super.
Super ain't that great, but the Broly movie is.
Yes.
Oh, the Broly movie was great. Great.
Oh yeah. The Broly movie and the Frieza movie. Like, it's like the movies are okay.
The movies are good. The series isn't so good, but that doesn't really mean that much. The fact that he had to come back and redo this means that this movie was so bad, it left such a sour doo-doo taste in his mouth that he had to come back and just try to erase that sin.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, hold on. Before we go any further, I actually want to tell me where you found him saying that he made DB Super because it's DB Evolution.
Yeah, hold on.
Because I never heard that. I agree, it's shit, but I never heard that it was because of that Super even exists.
Okay. Here we go. Posting the thing for you right now.
Oh, you found it already.
Yep.
Dang.
First thing in Google.
Where are you posting it? In the chat or
There you go.
Let me put it in the chat so other people
Oh.
can see it too.
Oh wait, yes. Shit.
Literally, the second paragraph reads, as I quote, "In fact, it was the total bastardization of Dragon Ball characters and lore in the 2009 live-action Hollywood film Dragon Ball Evolution that compelled series creator Akira Toriyama to once again involve himself in the creation of Dragon Ball content. As Toriyama described in the opening comment of the 30th anniversary Dragon Ball Super History book, DB once became a thing of the past to me, but after that, I got angry about the live-action movie, rewrote an entire movie script, and now I'm complaining about the quality of the new TV anime. So it seems that Dragon Ball has grown on me so much I can't leave it alone." Literally, Evolution was the final straw in his book that said that I went through GT, then Evolution. I refuse to let Dragon Ball run through the muck because of this.
That's so
Right.
bad. And I don't dislike Dragon Ball GT. Hot take.
To be fair, the last two arcs of GT, the baby arc and the Omega Shenron arc, which are considered the two best arcs of GT, were written by Akira Toriyama.
What about Super 17?
That was before him. Basically,
that was after Baby.
Was it
Just
after
Super
Baby?
Baby? That was no. I could have sworn it was like Super Baby. It was just that it was Toriyama and everything else was somebody else.
No. Omega Shenron was also Toriyama. They brought him back for the ending. I could have sworn that Super Baby came after. I forget the order.
It was Baby, then 17, then the Shenrons.
Yeah, Omega Shenron, I can guarantee was Toriyama. I remember him saying. I remember the article about him writing that. I might be mistaken about Baby then.
Okay, it doesn't matter. He was somewhat involved, but also it wasn't as good as Dragon Ball Z, probably because nobody really wanted that.
Well,
But
here's what
also,
I
go ahead.
wasn't comparing evolution to Z. I was comparing evolution to base Dragon Ball because that's really what it was supposed to be. It's
That's what it's
supposed to
supposed
be.
to be. Yeah.
So, what about you, King Crazy? What do you think? You think Chun Li's worse than Dragon Ball Evolution?
Like every time I'm leading on one, it's like the other one just. I remember something that's just awful.
When
It's
one
like
stinks, the other one farts in your face, basically.
yes, it's like it's like no matter who wins, I lose.
Oh, we all lost.
we
We as fans lost. With this last battle is basically saying the Dragon Ball fans versus the Street Fighter fans, and we all lost.
terrible crossover, by the way.
Apologies, people. Which analogy are you talking about? I'm not too sure. I know I said a whole bunch of crap just now.
You might be talking about when one stinks, the other one just farts in your face.
Oh yes, that is actually a really good analogy.
Perfectly fitting for this tournament.
So I think we ended here with Dragon Ball Evolution. Do I have the yays from everyone for this?
I mean,
Okay,
I'm
actually, you
for
know
it.
what? Actually, you know what?
Ooh,
This time, I think we should leave it to our viewers.
Sure, you put a
Like,
poll up. Let's put up a
okay,
poll. I
like,
have no problems with that.
okay. Give me a sec.
all of you watching. Which did you think was worse, DB Evolution or Legend of Chun Li?
And if Legend of Chun Li wins, King Crazy's buying everyone a new car.
Bro,
Fuck off! I buy myself a new car. Shut up. You can get a bag of chips, jerk.
Okay, you buy everyone a bag of chips. You just said it.
No, I'm giving you the bag of chips that I already have in my house. It's been there for like a month.
Okay, he's giving away his own food.
Just the chips, biatch.
okay, polls up. Which is worse, Dragon Ball Evolution or The Legend of Chun Li? If you haven't seen The Legend of Chun Li, that's fair. If you have seen The Legend of Chun Li, I'm sorry.
Wait,
If you
actually,
saw
where
it,
is the poll?
it's should be on it should be up
It's
at the
right at
top.
the top in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
never mind. There it is.
Also, funny enough, people can rig it by voting multiple times.
I know. But I'm not gonna do that. Wait, can I vote? Oh, I can. That's not fair. Because I have infinite. Oh wait, I can't use that stuff to vote. Oh, I can only vote one.
Okay, so it looks like DB is taking a commanding lead. No one's voted Chun Li yet.
I feel like nobody's seen The Legend of Chun Li. It was so bad. Look, I'm going to tell you the stats on this movie. The movie had a
Okay.
budget of 18 million compared to all the other movies that had a budget in at least of 80 million. And the box office return on this worldwide was 12.8 million.
That's so bad.
That
A movie with a budget so low still couldn't make a profit.
like
Actually, I have a question.
what's up?
How long was it in the theaters?
Good
If,
question.
if it says that for either movie.
Okay. Originally, it was stated to be released to theaters sometime in fall 2008 release, but because of the ongoing writer strike at the time and because of more time with filming, the film was released in theaters in the United States on February 27th, 2009. In Australia, the film did not receive a theatrical release, but a straight to DVD release instead on January 14th, 2010. Holy crap, this movie went through heck.
Woe be to anyone who bought the DVD of this in Australia.
Okay,
I'm looking.
because there is one movie, one random "Here Comes a New Challenger" movie that may that that you might have seen it. Like years back, like in the weird time of the year 2000. Did you ever see Dead or Alive?
No, maybe
I don't think it was worse
I
than
don't
Chung
remember.
Li because Dead or Alive at least still followed the tournament plot, if I recall correctly. Or am I mixing up? I'm mixing up with another movie.
No, it it had a tournament, but it's like people were winning, but then not fighting anymore, and it was like, okay, it's like they said it was a tournament, but exactly like who's supposed to be fighting each other? Because
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like the Mortal Kombat movie.
pretty much it's like it's like the new Mortal Kombat movie, except that's the tournament. People just fight one person and then never fight again, even after they win.
Yep.
It makes no sense. And Dead or Alive was so bad that it was in theaters for one day before they took it down.
That is bad. Also, congratulations to Dragon Ball Evolution. You have won an esteemed prize as being the worst movie of the worst. You've beat out the likes of The Last Airbender, The Legend of Chung Li, and Wonder Woman 1984. A
Oof.
movie about someone doing the nasty against someone's permission is not as bad as a travesty that you are. Congratulations, Dragon Ball Evolution. You have taken home the trophy.
With every single plot contrivance, plot hole, with every character who was just a peg of wood, with every plot detail that never got explained, Dragon Ball Evolution topped them all.
Yep.
Also, Dragon Ball Evolution apparently had a video game for the PSP.
Who
No one
even
has a PSP
who
anymore.
even bought that? I don't even know.
I don't know, but I wanted to tell you about the theatrical release. Though an American film, Dragon Ball Evolution was released in Japan and Hong Kong on March 13th, 2009, nearly a month before its American release. It was released in Australia on April 2nd in the United States on April 2nd and in the United Kingdom on April 8th. Its release in its home country changed dates many times. Initially scheduled to be released in North America on August 15th, 2008, it was later moved to April 2009 to allow time for additional filming and post-production work. The specific date then changed back and forth between April 10th and 8th, with the final release date being April 10th. The marketing of the theatrical release included a viral personal expressions campaign created by digital agency Redbox New Media that ran on the Windows Live Messenger application. I'm done.
Okay, so just to say, they knew the movie was so bad that they couldn't actually do a TV spot, so they did a Windows Live Messenger. My lord,
And this was in 2009 when that was kind of going on its way
it
out.
was already dead at that point. Let's be honest, it was already dead. Because I can tell you, I didn't use Windows Live Messenger in 2009. It was already dead by then.
Oof.
Yeah, so
Wow.
congrats to Dragon Ball Evolution. May you stay as shitty ever, but may you still be the muse that makes Akira Toriyama still release good movies and shitty anime.
Honestly, for all we know, we live in a crazy mix-up world. One of these days, some young, impressionable Hollywood writer without a single credit to their name will just make a movie that will somehow be actually worse than DB Evolution.
Don't you dare say that. Don't you put that
Okay,
curse on this
okay.
planet.
To
What's
be
wrong with
fair,
you?
though, to
It's
be
already
fair, though,
cursed.
guys,
It's already cursed.
to be fair, if we were to open this to everything that isn't only just adaptations, there's guaranteed at least one movie that's worse than Evolution already out there, and I know one. Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter.
Excuse me?
Wait, Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter?
Oh yeah,
Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter? Not
yeah,
Abraham Lincoln?
no, there is a
Everything was good.
horrible B grade movie called Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. If you've never heard of it, go look it up. It is
No,
horrible.
I refuse. I refuse. I've already seen my share of bad movies. No. No.
Now let me put it this way: Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter is so bad that I would rather watch through Sci-Fi's run of all those really bad, cheesy movies that they kept releasing every month on Sci-Fi. I'd rather watch through that entire catalog than rewatch Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter again.
Oh my god, the budget for Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter is 100,000 Canadian dollars.
So
Oh my
$2 American? No, I'm
god!
kidding. No, we're not talking about Alvin and the Chipmunks 4.
What?
Okay, so White Pages had a podcast and they had to watch Alvin and the Chipmunks 4 Road Trip. And
I didn't know they had a
it
4.
yeah, it devolved into a very, very weird podcast. By the way, follow White Pages Entertainment. He has a great podcast.
Sure. So, I mean, before we go, I have to read you the synopsis of Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter.
Please don't.
Just to tell you about this.
No,
So,
please do.
Here's
Please
a
do.
summary of this. After a spree of vampire attacks on lesbians, a Catholic...
Excuse me?
A Catholic priest realized that only Jesus Christ can fight the vampires. The Father Eustace sends 2 priests to a beach where they inform Jesus of the problem. 3 vampires, including Maxine Shrek, kill the priest, but Jesus kills 2 of the vampires by using the lake as holy water. Maxine escapes. Jesus goes to Ottawa, gets a haircut, and buys wood to make steaks. 30 aliens jump out of a car and confront Jesus, only to be easily defeated. Jesus teams up with Mary Magnum and infiltrates the hospital where they discover that Dr.
Wait, stop. Mary Magnum?
Mary Magnum. Magnum is the gun.
All right.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm with you, Paper. I'm done too. I'm done. But strangely, I'm intrigued. First of all, why are there vampire attacks on lesbians?
Yeah.
sexy?
Why?
It's sexier? I don't know.
Like, I want to watch it. But I mean, since I guess we've agreed that our next episode is going to be on movies that are so bad that they're good, this might have to be one of those movies.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not so bad. It's good. This is just bad in general.
I don't care. I'm watching it. I'm watching it. You
Well,
already got me hooked.
Right.
It's fine if you all
rock on.
watch it. That's on your.
Getting crazy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
I actually looked it up. What's his name? Aragon. People of this year have been trying to get Disney to do a remake.
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw.
See, I'm fine with getting a remake done as long as it's not a sequel.
As long as it's good.
No, we gotta do John Malkovich. John Malkovich's back at it again.
You know
Doing
which movie?
something.
You know which movie could have gotten a sequel because it wasn't as bad as people said it was, but it just wasn't popular enough to get money. John Carter.
Okay, yeah. It wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible. Like it had enough in it that it could have gotten a sequel. People just didn't watch it because there was no interest in it.
I mean,
Also, I do apologize to everyone in advance who do decide they want to go look up this movie and watch it. I mean, I'm not sorry because you're going to suffer the same way I did when I saw it twice, but you're going to suffer.
it's like when that Nazis open up the Holy Grail, Raise the Lost Ark, and it's like, man, that seems pretty good compared to this movie. Just good old fashioned face melting. Compared to Jesus fighting lesbian eating vampires.
Jesus Christ.
And 30 Idiots with Mary Magnum.
Yes, Mary Magnum. I thought you screwed up saying Magdalene, and I'm like, no, wait, no, you said Magnum.
Yep.
Okay, so that I'm gonna watch that. I would suggest one of you watches Velocipaster.
You know what I would recommend for that? You should do a Discord a watch for your fans where you put that movie on to watch it as a group.
Who has fans?
I would go in for that.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
we're
You know, White
definitely
Pages will join us along with like
oh
Paper, Katie,
definitely.
and all of them. They will join us for that.
We're gonna. I have you guys seen The Room?
Keep
Yeah,
hearing about
I'm
it.
going to make you guys watch The Room.
I've watched Nostalgia Critic about it. I know enough of the room.
No. No nostalgia critic. The Room, the whole movie. You're
I
gonna watch
refuse
it.
to. I refuse to. uh, the only Tommy Wiseau movie I will watch only because it's more recent is that movie that came out a while back about his
Samurai Cop
life.
2? Wait.
No, the movie
Oh.
about his life that came out recently.
That's not a Tommy Wiseau
Wait,
movie.
wait.
That's a James Franco movie. A
James Franco
Disaster
movie about Tommy
Artist.
Wiseau.
But
Yeah,
it's
about
based
Tommy
off of a
Wiseau.
book. It's based off of the book written by Greg Sestero, who was Mark in The Room. And they're actually still friends to this day. Like Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero.
Just to point this out, Samurai Cop 2, it is peak Tommy Wiseau, and it's excellent. I highly recommend it.
I mean, guys. I mean, if I want to watch bad movies, can I just watch Team America: Will Police again?
I feel like that was made to be that's not technically a bad movie.
It's intentionally bad. It's meant to be satire, but it was meant to be bad, but it ended up being so bad it's good.
Okay, so what we'll figure out a watch party within the next week, so we can watch movies and stuff. Bad movies, I guess.
My poor
Dracon doesn't
life.
want to watch The Room.
Okay, if we do this as a group, I'll watch it. I'm not watching it by myself.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. Oh gosh. I want you guys to know that I've been slowly infecting everybody with The Room this year. I've seen the movie 5 times this year, showing it to people. Posting tweets about selling The Room on Blu-ray bundled with underwear. I'm tired of it.
You know what? At this point,
Wait,
I'm
is that the
okay.
word?
Yes, he's.
So, Paper. It's gonna be Mystery Star Blast Theater
My gosh. Okay.
featuring Sunny D.
Why? Why? Work on the logistics this week, and maybe when everybody is free or interested and free, um, we'll we'll do that. Like I guess maybe 2 or 3 movies. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be a double special. Make sure to bring your popcorn and please take all the bullets out of your guns. We don't want any suicides done that from watching these
God.
movies. Please
Hide
don't.
kids, hide your wives. Or husbands.
Uh, uh,
Just hide. Just hide.
just if you're interested, let me know. I'm either in one of your discords or you're in my discord or you're just friends with me on Discord. So
Sonny, this is official. We're doing your Discord for this.
sully my Discord with this. Okay, that's fine.
You want to watch The Room?
That's
That's
fine.
your
The room
choice.
is fine, but maybe I'll put up a poll on Twitter after this and see what other bad movies people want to suggest.
Well, I'm assuming the
or
first double
watch.
feature is The Room plus Jesus Christ, because you said you want to watch that as well.
I do.
So I assume that's the first double feature right there.
Yeah. But also, this is technically research for the next episode.
I mean, if you want to watch bad movies, I say I'm all game for Dungeons and Dragons.
No, absolutely not. We're not
Wait,
gonna sully. Listen, I like Dungeons and Dragons, not the movie, the game, and I don't need to see that piece of crap again to make
I
me
already
remember
know, I
all
never
of the
played
points.
it.
Don't.
Oh, you don't like the
You
trauma
never
of
played
the
it.
fact
You need to play it.
you didn't like the trauma of the fact that they used real skulls in that movie? Those weren't CG; those were legit, real human skulls.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I really don't care about that. I care more that it sucked. That's what I care about. But I guess we should end this podcast because it's already 7
Yep.
and I haven't eaten today.
Go eat.
But I want to give some shout outs to the people who popped in. Start with
The most painful podcast we've ever done.
This is not the most painful podcast we've ever done.
Really, what was worse?
I think Understanding the Fate franchise was worse.
Oh,
No. Kingdom Hearts. That was worse.
Kingdom Hearts, yes. Understanding Kingdom Hearts
was okay.
Like Fate was fun. Kingdom Hearts was just agony.
I just realized what your image is there, Sonny, that you have in your star. That is from oh my god, what's this movie? What's this show called? Final Space.
Where?
If you look at if you look at your the image that you have again, when we get rid of the shout outs, I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Son of a bitch.
Come on, shout out, disappear. I need to see the image again. Right. So if you look at the face, that looks like the main villain from Final Space. If you've ever watched it.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Am I wrong?
I had an artist do that for me. Well, now I gotta change my profile image.
Why? It looks good.
Totally. What the hell is Final Space?
Oh, it is a great show. I recommend you watch it. 3 seasons
in a way that makes sense for you, but I urge anyone who still stands that movie to think really hard about why they like it.
I forgot the bad
and then
guy's
tell
name,
me if
but
it's actually
basically
supported.
He is a person which has something like psionic powers.
I've yet to see a hot take about it that's not just, oh, but this means, like, that doesn't inevitably descend into some bit of fan speculation.
Yeah,
it always ends up coming back to fan
people,
speculation.
I have bad memory.
And then it usually descends into some bitching about whether...
Yeah, I'm seeing like a green thing. It's like an egg with legs. Is that it?
Hold on, let me get his name. Yes, green thing with legs. So his name is the Lord Commander in the show. That's his name, the Lord Commander.
It looks like their pet.
He's not their pet. He is the actual big bad of most of the seasons of the show.
He doesn't look anything like
I
Sonny's
can't believe.
logo.
Monkey friend.
Look, when you see him actually like do
Why is the
the
box
ham
moving?
evil laugh,
And that
it
Chinese
looks like
food is
that
always,
photo.
like, the number one.
They you need to get the image with that.
Am I getting okay? Got it.
So now I have to go west.
Am I forgetting anybody?
You forgot yourself.
I don't need to shout myself out. Everybody's here. I mean, I'm already. Yeah, everybody's here listening, so they don't need me.
Sure, you can. You can make shoutception. You keep shouting yourself inside your shouts.
No, that's okay. I'm good. Only because my mods tend to do that to troll me, and
Shut the fuck up.
since they're not here, I don't need to worry about that.
You didn't see that.
Or they're
Okay,
lurking
I'm
or
looking
something.
at Lord Commander,
He can't.
evil laughing.
I watched a
Nope.
smooth turn.
No, that's what
No.
it Like,
What?
it's just anybody who's ever evil laughed. That's like,
Okay, not a problem. Oh, so basically, Sunny, when the mods are away, the Sunny will play.
Words are hard. Sometimes we just don't pick the correct
No.
word to say, and then everybody gets confused.
My mods are trolls. Like every single one of them is a troll. So I think that's all for the shout outs. Please follow everybody who has shown up on the screen, or whose link is in the chat for those who are watching live, those who are watching later on YouTube. Check out the people who have shown up on the screen. They're all great streamers, and I appreciate them. I also appreciate all of the lurkers and participants, and I believe my co-hosts also I believe my co-hosts also appreciate you. And
we do.
that I'm really close with.
Comments. Like,
Good point.
do you have a movie that's worse than Dragon Ball Evolution?
If
Please,
you
we'd love
say
to
there
hear it.
is, you're a liar.
I already said Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter.
No.
Why would you not believe me?
No, you no, we have to see it.
We're out. Stay dope.
Bye.